Live all the way to the end of the show. Adara is off tomorrow, so no midday updates. All hell's gonna break loose around here. Anytime
we'll
Adara's
do
gone.
do our best.
We'll do what we can, but we got to punch into trades, do the news, keep an eye on the chat. We can't see what Donald's doing all the time.
Screen one last time before we send it off to the boys. Tesla, bang.
Bang. There it is.
Joey's back.
We're going to Adara at the big desk. She has news.
We're here, guys. I don't have many details on this, so when I get more, I'll let you know. But there is a headline that could potentially be on watch in the chip space. We just have news. We know that Trump was signing a congressional bill at 1 p.m. Apparently, this bill was H.R. 1316. That's the Maintaining American Superiority by Improving Export Control Transparency Act. Very long name. Apparently, what this does is it amends the Export Control Reform Act to require the Secretary of Commerce to just, I guess, report annually to Congress on these applications for dual-use export licenses. We know that there's been some export application delay, at least for these chips. That was reported a while ago for Nvidia and AMD to China. So potentially the story could be on watch with regards to the chip space. Again, I have very few details except for what I just read you. So if I get more, I'll let you know. Back to the guys.
Thank you very much there, Adara. We were just talking about the cold brew.
Yeah, we got
about the cold brew. If you're committed, and Shreve was like, "Oh, we should get that here." I'm like, "If you're committed, you can do it in the morning.
Make coffee, put some ice.
Yeah, you make some coffee, but you got to do it if you want to have one in the afternoon. Like you, the idea is you brew it in advance, and then be planned for it. I've done it with ice. I'll make myself an iced tea, but you got to, you got to just prepare for yourself and do it in the morning. Before we get into things, market turning back to the downside. You guys the boys were talking about Best Buy, and I pulled up the chart. I was like, "Whoa, this actually looks pretty good." I don't know what everyone else's opinion was of this, but all I sort of saw was look at this downtrend here, and then clearly, like literally today, breaking that out. So it actually looks like a pretty good chart in bottoming pattern. Here, I'll just go to the last thing that happened because I was in 3 longs. You can see that I'm now in 2. Look. The market tried to bounce there. I took 1 VWAP bounce and 3 trend breaks. Apple just came out break even because all it could bounce, you can't make it up, 40-cent bounce, and then right back in. It's been a rough day overall for the markets, mostly led by things that are crypto related or like high valuation type stuff. Like the ES is not as bad. So you have a lot of things holding it up there. I mean, Home Depot obviously had a good day. You saw Best Buy in there, had a good day. A couple of energy names weren't all that bad, but overall tech got wrecked. SoFi all day long faded that move from the morning. It's another thing. Like it broke almost the full day trend. If you just take it from the open, and the bounce, it got 23 to 23 halves. It gets a 1% bounce, and it's trying to roll over. I have a trail on this because I think anything long. Put a trail on because you take what you can get, and then people can say you get what you get, and then you're not upset. That's what you should be if you're taking a reversion trade when the market is clearly whether we're calling it profit taking or frothiness in valuations. It ultimately doesn't matter. Like it kind of is. It can be the same thing. Yeah. As far as explanations go, people always want to explain it away. It doesn't really matter. You probably have all of those things happening. You have short sellers that have been trying to short that are working today. And then you have some longs that are like, well, there were a lot of signals for the crypto top, right? Like, let's be real for a second. I mean, bullish.
We called. I mean, the day that IPO, we were right on the.
Yeah, on those IPO. Like, it's just when you have all those IPOs come out, there's a reason why you IPO when the getting is good. And then you had the Tesla 125 in Bitcoin, then the pullback, and ETH goes to the highs and kind of pulls back. So you had those sort of technical things happening. So whether it's profit taking or people loading shorts, it can be a bit of part and parcel, sort of the same thing. I'll make sure I'm in the right chat. I think I am.
We're still in the TQ short here as that's been printing. We just covered a little bit more right here. We let it go all the way down in. We had some bids when we were in the gym. $92 down to 89 and change, so still going lower right now. And we're trying to, I don't know, this is not going to work. If this breaks the low of the day here, 70s, we're out. Palantir, like we've been doing good in this buying, and we've played this good. We made some money back here on Palantir for sure, considering that we were just long real early there. This was a keystroke area. You saw me doing that live on the show. And then right into there, just buying these dips now, hoping that we hold. But yeah, it's been a wild day. It's funny because you can't expect, Palantir's kind of a different beast because we've already talked about the valuation and all that stuff there in Palantir. Here it comes. We're going to get stopped out here in a second. Down 9%. It looks like you may get a 10% bounce, but it doesn't look like anything other than that right now is what we should be waiting for. But yeah, Palantir, we said that there's a possibility this was going to come into this 50-period moving average. It looks like all the way back to where we were August 4th right now. So we're going to give back 2 weeks, see what happens to Palantir here moving forward. Yeah, definitely some valuations coming to roost today. We're going to see if this market wants to eventually hold. But
like on my quote board, and my quote board doesn't reflect the whole market. It's just it's just easy for me to look. Palantir 8, Hood 6. I'm talking about from the open. You know what? Let's just do from prior close. 9, 5. Nat Gas 4.5% down. That makes sense. Yeah, Ukraine news. Coin 4.5%. DJT 5%. Right.
I'm getting more out here.
Crypto, right? SMCI 4.5%. ARM 4%. Marvell 4%. ETH 4%. Boeing 3.5%. Boeing catching strays on this. Really?
Boeing's going?
Yeah, a block 3. You know what? I have to admit, I'm not sure I expected Boeing to be on the list of things that was getting hit the most. I'm thinking, okay, fine, tech. What's going on in? And this just piques my own interest because in my head, it wouldn't have seemed like this would be one that would be getting punished so much today. I guess you know what the run's pretty. Yeah, the run's pretty darn good. That's also it's almost a double up from the April lows. What are you gonna do? So maybe it should fall in that category as well. Like the things that have gone the most are probably getting punished the most. It just didn't make. I'm thinking crypto-related names. I'm thinking more the big cap tech, the stretched valuations. I don't know that I put Boeing in that category, but the everything plunge, I suppose, unless you're Home Depot today or Best Buy.
Or Eli Lilly.
Lily's doing well today.
I mean, it
Novo,
was. I don't know, maybe
well, I don't know, probably.
Probably still.
Yeah, it's still
up at 1%.
There's something else. It'll come.
We had Pan W was a good
Palo Alto,
but that's down now to 182.
But still up, right?
Still up 3%, but still down from the open 4%. I mean, we were up 5-6% there, so down 3%.
Oh, our choice.
There from the open, everything down from the open. I would say if you find a stock that's up from the
open,
you win.
UVXY. No, just cheating.
Yeah, that's not a stock.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. So let's go back over to the desk and find out what you guys want to talk about. Let's go Palantir.
Oh, Intel is.
What's up from them open?
Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys are locked or loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers up there, you got to get in the chat. You got to vote. Super simple. Throw in that $sign followed by whatever ticker you want. You can vote from 8:30 all the way up to 2. Make sure to vote, like, and subscribe, and share the stream too, guys. Here's a look at all 4 major averages, and all 4 major averages are red. Starting on the top left of your screen, there is a triple Q's down 1.25. Bottom left is the IWM Russell 2000 down 0.4%. Top right in your screen there is the ES, that's the SPY down 0.56, and the Dow, the DIA, basically flat on the day, down 0.05%. The first ticker as decided by you, Open Door, having a bit of a red day today, down 2.5%. But as you can see there on the chart, we did put in higher highs and higher lows relative to yesterday's price, so that trend continues to go. By the way, the SPAC king, Chamath Palihapitiya, returns with $250 million of American exceptionalism deal targeting AI and energy defense names. Only reason I bring him up is because he was involved in the Open Door SPAC, looking to get back into SPACs, guys.
Chamath's total SPAC holdings are down more than 50%. So yeah, might be worth it. I just wonder how many like mansions he wants you guys to fund. So yeah, get involved with that, and then remember about IPOs and SPACs. A lot of it's going to be fluff. It's not like this guy's doing the best, I guess.
Because you know what the trade we like is, and this is nothing against what happened to Webull, but look, if a SPAC goes up and then you have that unwind, right?
Snake oil.
When it comes back and retests that $10 SPAC price, it's just, sometimes there's a pretty good trade there. Bull was an example of that. It just held 10, boom. So when you see that pattern, it's kind of like the IPO post-high breakout trade later on good stocks, like if you pull up a daily of Robinhood would be an example of that. That's a fantastic one. So maybe you get something like that, because I think there's always a trade somewhere. And look, the SPAC bounce has been one we've seen work, because they tend to unwind, and then you can catch those bids usually around the $10 level. For open, tried it twice, but I know technically, as Sharif said, it's holding higher lows. That's good. It's down 3%. Maybe that's going to be bad. Whether or not, look, there's a few things to think about here. Of course, you got the 13F from Paul Tudor. That was positive. A bunch of people caught short in this. That's a positive. In theory, rates going down, that's a positive for the home builders. Although, when you start to think about more talk about not getting cuts, or maybe only one cut and not two, that can weigh on it. When the expectation drops of how many cuts we'll get, or if we'll get one, that can affect something like this when it's gone up a double in a few days, right? So I think that could be a little bit of the story as well. It's something you always have to consider. Like, as the market was moving, I didn't factor that in to a lot of my thinking this morning, that, hey, there's a lot of people that, while it's at 80% or 85 or where we're still at, we'll check it later, there's still a lot of chatter that maybe we aren't going to get that rate cut, and that's the feeling. I tried it a few times here today, but it just couldn't break the trend to the downside. Even the bounces that started to go, you couldn't get to the volume weighted average price but once, and I didn't have it. I think I'm going to want it to break VWAP if I trade this again. It's got a nice double bottom, so maybe there's something here if it gets around to 350. But I tried some trend breaks on this, went 1 for 2, and I'm flat on the stock. And really, most of that is just silliness of, not having a tight enough stop on the first trade and then not getting enough out on VWAP there. Like, it is what it is. But this stock just doesn't feel like it wants to go. Maybe it's a temporary pullback, which can be healthy, because it's been more than a double in a week.
Right.
What more can you ask for sometimes?
Yeah, no, you nailed it. I mean, we shorted it yesterday, open door, when it was a good trade. We were able to make a little bit of money on it. I think, like I said, I think my best trade was AMD on this yesterday, but we shorted in and around this same area, and it was just today, so right into here, we were short yesterday on that pop. We waited for it. We were pretty patient. We got that move. Today, obviously, it consolidated yesterday afternoon, and there's the pop through $4. There's $4.25 right back in. We throw these funny things about skim-off and scam-off and all these kind of things, and, but at the end of the day, it's all of us that hit the buy buttons or the sell buttons. So open door, there's reasons why this name could go. We have interest rates coming lower. The housing market seems to be pretty strong. We'll get Toll Brothers tonight. We'll see if people are, again, looking to buy more homes, put their homes up on for sale. Right now, Home Depot talked about the do-it-yourselfers and everything like that. So preparing your homes for sale, so on and so forth. So I think Open Door does have a chance. In the name itself, if you're going to actually look at a chart of Open Door, I mean, this is going to look good because of what's been happening pretty recently. But if we go over to say a monthly chart of this stock, and again, it was like one of those COVID, loves. And I mean, there it is right here, like at $10. So it goes all the way up, right? So if we're going to be talking about Chamath and everybody making decisions, like, you had a chance to sell this name. You could have sold it up here as well, but then it comes, and I think by the time it finally went public, we're gonna have to find the date that Open Door this actually turned into a SPAC. But who wants to bet that it was somewhere around February of 2022, because it's never been back there at all. So you went basically from $10 all the way down to $0. And now he's finally trying to battle back. So the real break on this would be like this $5 or $6 area. So lots of memory. It could get back up to there. But I just want to find out when that actually turned into Open Door, because my guess is it probably wasn't until about somewhere around here. Open Door may have never been a positive name for anybody, basically, unless you're able to buy that and get that, or this recent last bump. So, it does have an opportunity to go, that is for sure. Open Door, especially with that short float. So let's just see if it continues to work or not. By the way, Palantir, I mean, it's a good thing. It's kind of like we're just kind of washing it back and forth right now. Like, it goes up, in and in, out, 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 come back in, get some out, get some more again, then we fall back just a little bit and get out there for flat again once we break through 60s. So just want to bring that up. We just got stopped out there on the low of the day break for Palantir. New lows incoming, man. This market doesn't know when to stop. It doesn't look.
out of my mouth, Sean. I was just going to say Palantir down 9.44%, not too far away from short sale restricted. Keep your eye on that. That's the filling of the gap there as we break through that 160 area. A couple of headlines today on Palantir. There was that good deal that we talked about on the midday show with Fujitsu out in Japan for the use of their AIP program. Keep an eye out for that. But it really does feel like that bearish report from Citron Research that issued, less than favorable comments, which may have an effect on the stock right now, trading at around 157.
So, yeah, for sure. I mean, we highlighted this a long time ago that, that the valuation was going to be at some point a problem. And you just need, like we said, you need a report, you need to miss, you need somebody to highlight it. Everyone's been highlighting it. We all knew about it on their earnings. They went basically on earnings from, this 150 mark all the way to 190. Now it's right back in like pretty bad. It's going to be its worst day almost of the year. Must be of the year. There's February. So we had a pullback in February, again, not tariff related or anything, that went from 125 all the way down to 75. So we have already lost a lot on Palantir in the past. So again, if you have muscle memory, this is going to be something that hurt, and you're going to remember going through all of that. Well, we went through it as well, and now we're going through this right here again. So it does have the ability to break this 50-period moving average, but look, it's been holding ever since April 21st. So has many stocks. It looks like you're going to retest it. If you like the name, I think you're getting close to buying it, maybe 152, 153 for Palantir, but yeah, this 10% down doesn't make their valuation any better. So, in those reports, there wasn't anything scathing about the company, just the fact that too far, too fast. So, Palantir right now does look like that name that wants to go lower. We just got stopped out, as you can see, and now it's trying to battle back. I mean, if the futures don't bounce, nor will this name. So, I think it's just ebbs and flows now. Probably better to stay away from the long and stop trying to catch this, but I still think there's an opportunity to get long. Well, people will come in and buy.
Also, it looks like that February 24th day was 10.5%. I mean, sometimes it doesn't look like it on the chart, right, but that was 10.5%. But if it went to the lower price, right, the bar is going to be smaller. So it's just it looks like maybe 1 or 2 days worse than this. But that prior trend that we're on, that trend line now aligns exactly with the 50 period. More or less on the daily, obviously not exactly, but pretty darn close as you can tell. That'll be at 152.5. So 152.5 is that. I don't know if you get there today. Maybe that's a tomorrow thing, but I think that's the next level to look for. Yeah, I tried it at VWAP and I keystroked it while I was doing the lesson of the day. So, that's what that is. That kind of sucks. But let's be real. If you pull this up on a monthly, I'm going to use eSignal. If you pull this up on a monthly chart, right? Like there is a red month in here, right here. I think that's February. You got that red month when you had that 10% down. This will be at like the topping tail candle. It did this before, and it did this in January, and then had a red month, and then went ham. And so what could even if it did, if it stayed on pattern, you could easily have it bouncing back to the highs. If you pulled back to prior significant levels on the monthly, like you're talking about, like a couple of prior bars is 120. Like that's how crazy the monthly chart is here. So when we talk about healthy pullbacks, like there's the 50 here, but then there's like 120 would be a significant level that kind of keeps it relatively on schedule. Like that's where this channel really started going at the 120 level. So there's some levels down here on the way back in that we could catch a little bit of a bounce. Let's see if the next name is able to do so as well, because like everything on that list, or most of everything on that list, Tesla. It had a wild day, although it still held well.
Is it Isaac Tesla?
Ooh, I don't want him to do well, man.
Nobody knows who that is. Let's just go over to Sharif.
I had got him in my.
We know who he is.
Well, yeah.
Sharif?
Red days, some green days for Tesla here. We're down 1 3/4, guys, on Tesla, even though we had a couple of good headlines, and here they are. Elon Musk launching a 6-seater Model Y, calling it the Model Y L in China. It's also going to have more range, as well as a Model 3, which is going to have about 500 miles of range. Those are China-specific models. They also recorded better than expected deliveries, or registrations, that is, for the week of August 11th to 17th, guys. They registered about 14,000 new cars. And if you're looking at that quarter over quarter, 60% surge.
So when I said Tesla held the low, what I should have been more clear about is it held the low from like the 327 on the 200 period, right? So Tesla has been holding higher lows since earnings. That's good, right? Like you've been holding higher lows since earnings. There's another one at that 200 period moving average. That's where I'm eyeballing today. It's the big support level. You could make an argument that it bounced off of it with this bounce already here, just under 328, which is fair. But as the market trends back in, I think it could break it still and look for a 327 level. That's the key. Bit of a, I don't know, I could have done better with Tesla this morning. The mistake, I think, well, there's multiple mistakes. Not getting back in was a mistake. Trying to hold on to too much of a breakout trade so that when it came back in and stopped out, instead of like being up, I was like flat on one trade and then I lost on another trying to hold. So I end up flat on Tesla where it's like the places I got in were good and then there was a chance to get off VWAP, which is fantastic. There was a trend break, all that kind of stuff. But the 327 is the key, that 200 period moving average. The good news for Tesla on a day like today is it's not like it's been going ham, right? So Tesla hasn't been going crazy because there's been a bunch of pessimism around it anyways. So when the market sells like this, it's not Tesla that's down 10%. So that's, I guess it cuts in both directions, but we do need to start holding on to some of these bigger levels and not keep bouncing off of $300 to feel good about this stock. You know, ultimately, like we keep saying, the shoes that need to drop here, whether it's automated driving, roll something out, start making some coin. You're talking a great game with how cheap it's going to be, robo-taxi versus Uber, but until we can start making some money off of that and start seeing some progress, Optimus needs to get some positive news. You just need to start to see things that'll drive the valuation and make that look a little bit better. But 327, that's where I'm looking for a bounce today.
All right, so right now we're 50 cents in the money right now. We'll just drop it like this because we're we'll actually be green on Palantir today. It's just, this will be position pending. If we just can get even up to 40s or 50s, we're back to Greensville on this stock because we've been buying the dips here on Palantir and getting out. It's just the last piece always seems to stop us out. Yeah, so we were into Tesla this morning as well. We initially wrote down the long. It was going to be one of our top trades, breaking through 336 there today before it all went to shit. There's the break right there, 336. We had it. We had a good trade. I think that must have been a keystroke error up top, but we had a good trade right there, breaking through 336. It's what we wrote down. Came back, tested the 50 period and VWAP down there at 330, basically 335. Actually not even that much difference. So in and around here was like $1 or $2. And then eventually we played against this bottom of what we thought was the bottom of 334. And then we got stopped out completely out, which really sucked because that was 333 at the time, all the way back up to 340. And then wadunk, right there down to the bottom side of the trade right now. So we've stayed away from it. But, you know, Neil's mentioning it. There's way more pain out there than Tesla today. So I would stay in the game if you are in the game with Tesla. I think it'll rebound at some point. I still really like the long. I like the story. Everything except for the cars. I mean, better sales there in China worked out for them. I again, like the story. I think Tesla works. It's just for right now, it's going to go with the market, and the market is down. And if you're questioning valuations, I mean, Tesla doesn't have the greatest one either.
Nope.
The cars are not selling the way they used to. So Tesla right now, downside for a couple minutes, I would say. Maybe give it the 2 or 3 day rule. See if we're lucky enough to get Tesla. Like, it wouldn't be lucky if you're a bull because you'd have to go through some pain. But, you know, between 300 and 310, something like that, we've held there pretty good. You know, if this is the pullback. You know, we often get sort of blindsided, or I don't know what the right way to say it is, but we also often get like, we can't see
too worked up, can't see the...
Yeah, whatever through the leaves, or you can't see the forest through the trees, or the... Yeah, that's the phrase apparently. So I was just going to say, like, right there for Tesla, I think that's the story right now, is that you're just going to have to be patient there. And if you do believe in the name, then you're going to have to ride out these ups and downs. At least he's not involved in Doge anymore, right? Oh, boy. Okay, let's go back over and talk about Lisa Su and Company. That is AMD.
Get it, Lisa.
All right, guys. AMD down, well, it was 5%, now 4.95. Not really sure what's selling it off, but it could be this headline here. As a result of one of their competitors getting an investment from SoftBank, Intel, we're talking about there, also possibly a 10% stake being taken by the U.S. government, and that doesn't have investors feeling all that good, at least on the day, on AMD, guys, down 5%.
I just said to myself, oh yeah, Intel.
Intel is actually up. Well, we'll talk about, again, we're talking about chips now, so we'll talk about Intel after AMD. AMD had just a fantastic trend breakdown, which, I got rid of this because we're like, it wasn't useful anymore, but whatever, I'm not going to bother redrawing
Go gadget.
Trend down and then trend up. Today it breaks that trend. So this entire move that we've had, starting from maybe the dip around 100, but if you go all the way, it's been a spectacular run here, or more than a double up for AMD. It's going to close, barring some kind of a minor miracle, breaking that trend. And then I just favor short until you get to the 50-period moving average. The next catalyst or next shoe to drop, barring any other China news, is remember, we haven't even got to Nvidia earnings. Like, what's going to happen at that point? Like imagine a scenario where there's even the slightest thing they can nitpick with Nvidia. Like, what would AMD do on a move like that? So it was a great trend, and when these things double or go up 240% like we did from the bottoms here on AMD, you will get moves like this. And I'm favoring short until it either regains a trend line or finds some kind of a temporary bottom and shows you a bit of a reversal on AMD. Just to work it back in here, Intel, SoftBank took a stake. The U.S. government might take a 10% stake. It's always possible. We don't really know. They're talking about using funds from the CHIPS Act, the money that didn't go out, the grant money that didn't go out there to all the firms. If they could use that to get a 10% stake, I think that would be a positive, a bigger deal than SoftBank, because if the U.S. government's behind you, then U.S. companies might feel a little more pressure to actually use Intel as a fab instead of them having no clients, right? I mean, it can't hurt. Government pressure. Hey, it's like, hey, Jensen, you want to sell the chips in China? Maybe you need to lock in Intel as I'm not saying that's what would happen, but it's not crazy to me. I took this once as a trend-breaking trade. I got trailed at VWAP. I'm not in it anymore. I think if I try this again in the long side, because it's actually up right now, up 8% and up since the open still. If it can hold on to VWAP, that might be the place. If we can start getting some closes over VWAP and the market doesn't look so crappy, for lack of a better term, then Intel makes a lot of sense for an afternoon long. But there's a lot of ifs and buts here. Because when the market's trending down, I basically want to go long trend breaks or things that are showing good signs of relative strength. And, Neo was, kind of.
Okay, my turn, I guess. Palantir, nice upside play right here, 80 cents in the money and still going. Let's just hold it for the rest and see if we can get going there. I do have an offer at 158.65 to make it a true dollar club, but we've been piecing it out. We actually now only have 60% left, but there it is right at the 50. Yeah. Right, I have to get something. I'm gonna get out of another 5% of what we have. Leave us with 55%. Okay, it's at the 50-period moving average. You see it completely turn around right there. So right now we're buying back into it. That stop out, of course, is part of this. As we said, Palantir looking to go positive on the name here today. So that should be a good one. Moving forward, all right, Advanced Micro Devices. We did not. We did trade this today. We did not trade it that well. I have to zoom back out a little bit. This was one of the first names that we got involved with again today. We actually didn't get involved until about 9:40, about 9:55 it looks like. Played that drop, thought maybe we were going to absorb some of this levels here around 170, but then we were able to, like I said, it's bad, but could always be worse. You know, if you don't have those stops. I saw someone in the chat said like they raw dogged it today and they didn't put out any stop orders, but they were short. So that was a good one.
Raw dogged it.
Oh, raw dog might be something that we say, that the wife and I say. I know that what it means. It's not the greatest thing, but that's what we mean, like, without, like, you know, you went out in the rain without an umbrella.
Yeah, we've used it for things like that. I've never heard it in a trading term, though. I've never heard it in a trading.
If you don't put a stop loss in, you're raw dogging your trade. I think that's fine to say that.
Fair.
Pretty soon, everyone's
it's the same kind of danger. Huh? Your maximum downside, right?
Raw
maximum downside
flight?
if you raw dog.
No, I never raw dogged a flight. What is that?
That means no electronics. You just stare straight.
Oh, raw dogging a flight is like you go on there without.
That's light work. Oh, so Joe just said raw dogging a flight is when you just sit there, use no electronics. Can you read a book? Does that count?
Nothing.
No book. So you just sit there on a flight with nothing.
This is how we use the terminology in my house anyway. It's very similar to that.
You could sleep.
It's like you're raw dogging it. It's just like you're just going in raw. You're doing nothing with it. But anyways, if you did that with your stop losses today and you were long, you would have
Probably not.
Not been too happy, but there it is. Nice move down. AMD down 5%. For everybody that loves AMD, get in there and love it even more today because it's on sale. So get involved with some AMD today. Down 5%. Again, I think it's a buy. I just want to wait for all of these period moving average. We're in a hell of a bull market, and I don't think anything is going to change that. Especially not one day. Boo-hoo, Nasdaq down 1.37%. The best of the best are going to get hit on these days, and as long as you didn't raw dog it, you're probably fine. So there will be some bad days where you go through these things, but at the end of it all, I like the stock. I like its friend over here, big brother, the king of the castle. Nvidia. I'd rather buy Nvidia down 3% than AMD down 5%. So I don't think there's anything bold about that one. There it is, nice move to the downside. And
I wonder if anybody would. Is there anybody that likes AMD more than Nvidia here?
Well, we had Mitch. I mean, Mitch was like, you could get more. I mean, I think people think that there's more to go on AMD, like meaning that the high is still 240.
I don't know. I kind of feel like that move already happened. But
Same.
maybe it didn't. Because when we looked it up, it's like the difference between the two of them on the year from those lows was about the same. So,
yeah.
I mean, AMD just seemed like it was going faster because you're used to it on NVIDIA. You're not used to much happening on NEO, but today...
Bitcoin is getting...
a little bit
now,
of...
Bitcoin...
Yeah, it's taking it on the chin a little bit. A little bit.
NEO.
Tina, man. All right, NEO's having a decent day. It was up 4% a second ago. Now it's up 3.9%. A couple of different headlines over here. So they cut prices. That's not awfully bullish as it eats into margins, but they're also expanding globally. Singapore, Uzbekistan, and another country I can't remember at the moment. They were selling really only in China, so good luck there. It could also be that their rival, XPeng, had blowout deliveries, delivering about 103,000 vehicles just in the last quarter. So, yeah, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I see a bit of a bull flag here forming on the daily after that double bottom. Neil, how do you see this? Kind of a bull flag pattern with that $5 area being kind of the intermediate area. Katina, what do you see here as well?
That because the $5 break is exactly the only, that's what we looked at today. And it was because of it, is exactly because of this channel. It doesn't really matter. I've heard like bull flag, it's a bullish consolidation, right? Like price is consolidating and not with a flat top. It was a declining something, whatever this is called. And then you broke out at $5 today. It was a $5 breakout trade, and then it was a VWAP. It was a $5 breakout trade that was good, and then it was a VWAP trade that was okay, and then it was a second VWAP trade which is doing absolutely nothing. But that's the story of the Chinese ADRs. You should, most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, your best bet is going to be getting them at the open. And then after that, they're going to slow down. Why? For obvious reasons. Chinese ADRs slow down in the middle of the day, and sometimes they catch juice in the afternoon. I don't know. I'm not taking this a fourth time. I'm not taking a flat bottom break. I'm just getting out if it breaks this local bottom here. So like it was a morning trade. I think you could see some continuation when you break something like this. Certainly, I would favor long over $5 again tomorrow, but it went right into the high. Could not break the prior high, went 5 to essentially 5.25, missed it by 2 cents, and then came right back in. So that's what you could get on the move. So that's what you take. We'll see if it has a little bit more juice in it tomorrow. One of the good things is, at least with something like that, you didn't have to worry as much about the market falling apart because NEO is the kind of name that has the ability to go without the market going. And not that it's some kind of crazy small capper, but a lot of times when the market's doing this to the downside, if you're looking for longs, you might be able to find it in something that is not going to have as direct a correlation to the Nasdaq. And that can be one of the prerequisites you look for. Obviously, you want it to be relatively strong and have a good positive news as well, which NEO had.
Yeah, I thought we more appropriately, I can't believe nobody voted for Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything like that today as... Put your hand up if you hold or own any NEO stock. All right, I was just gonna say, as far as, right, that's about right. Okay, so right now, just looking at what IBIT's doing, waiting for moves down in the crypto space, I'll probably buy more Bitcoin tonight. I mean, 113, if we're gonna call up a Bitcoin, here's Solana too, by the way. I I wasn't looking at this one recently, but I had bought some more recently at $200. So that is down. Where is the daily chart here? 1 day. Okay, so as we zoom in just a little bit here and have a look at what Solana's doing. So again, remember what we talked about, 50 period moving average, 200 period moving average right now. Come on, Palantir right now. Palantir 85 cents in the money. We're looking to bounce it off this 200 period. That's 160. You are attending the 50 period moving average right now of 172. But yeah, man, a lot of people caught in the euphoria there. I only had a little bit of cash left and I just wanted to put it somewhere. So I did put it on Solana, thinking maybe I should have done some Ripple there. I will not be buying Ethereum, but I would be buying some Bitcoin at some point right here. There it is. There's Bitcoin coming back into the 50 period moving average. Look, man, I bought this thing at 103, 105, 108. Didn't buy anything up top. So waiting for some more opportunities to come back. I mean, I think it can get into this 105 area. Why not there for crypto? And then the two are for Bitcoin. And then the bottom there, 100 is where your 200 period moving average is. And even if we say like, okay, we don't believe in this space or whatever, it doesn't matter what you believe in. It does for your own convictions, fine. You don't have to invest in things. But when you're looking at this, the 200 period really has held all, this is January of 23. So back when it was $19,000 is where we were underneath it for this whole time. You know, we went from 50,000, like this is how crazy Bitcoin's already had this dramatic move. We were at 70,000 there. We went down to 20,000. So we got chopped as 80% down, all right? Then we break the 50 period, or sorry, the 200 period or the 50 period, whatever you want, right into here, right there, January of 23. That was 20,000, 19, 20,000. Since then, sure, we've danced around it here. This was 28, 24, 25, and then we're just sort of getting started on Bitcoin, right? Then Bitcoin has a huge move up to 70,000, comes right back in, barely breaks it all the way up. Then we get that move in the summer of 2024, this 2 summers ago, it's 2025, where the whole market came back in. So yeah, man, Bitcoin does break the 200 period moving average there. That was 61,000. So it goes to 55,000. All right, still hovering, still hovering. There's another break rate here at 64,000. Then we come back and again, hovers around the 200 period there. So let's just say you say that break, that's the 200 period, that's 86. It goes as low as 76. But guess what? 86 to 76, like find me a stock that during the tariff time, which is this is what this move is, only went down from 86 to $76. Most stocks went down 20, 30%, especially tech names, if not more than that. I think Nvidia went down 55%, okay? So Bitcoin holds up good there, bounces around, comes in, doesn't even test the 200 period moving average. So somewhere around here, I think is a great buy spot for Bitcoin. And you guys know we've been raising a little bit of cash. So I feel like maybe we won't buy exactly tonight, but I feel like maybe 1 or 2 more days for BTC gets us, you know, maybe 108, 109, kind of worst case. And, you know, we'll buy $1,000 worth here, just for example, and then another $1,000 worth here, whatever, on the way down, and just sort of add to the position until at some point, you know, you feel like you have enough. As Neil said, you're maybe capped at 5%. So, or whatever your cap is, everyone's going to be different. For me, I don't look at things like that, but it makes sense to do that. You know, I don't know if you want to hold more than that in your account.
I think I don't use it as a hard line. It's just, right, okay. It's in a general sense. If you're at resistance and it's gone to like 6.5, I'm trimming something. That's how I roll.
Yeah.
And well, okay, here's the most egregious example where I would let something like that fly would be probably like something like an Nvidia. I tend to be a little bit more hard line on things that I think are a little bit riskier. Not that I think Bitcoin's riskier, but Eli Lilly would be the best example of that. Like when Eli Lilly was more than 5% of my portfolio, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, maybe not. Low. But I'm using one chart for Bitcoin. Why did this all of a sudden go blue? I didn't even, okay, that's weird. Anyways, if you look at how long we've been in consolidations for Bitcoin, since when we break out a new high, and then from November, and really, you stayed within these 2 channels all the way down into April of the following year, and then another consolidation. I think I need proof that we're holding this level. Otherwise, I'm more of a buy the dip kind of person. Like I will let it I'll be a buyer on the way down there, which is what I did. Then I was a buyer on the way down to the 72 level, and I've done nothing on the way up. And if we get back down, I know I'll be a buyer down here, and I'll be probably a buyer down there in front of 70 again. And I think that's, if you're not cool with Bitcoin possibly pulling back into the 70s, then it's just, remember, this is what it does. You know, like you have to be okay with that sort of thing. In addition to what happened specifically in crypto, let's not forget Robinhood. The other side of this, Robinhood had positive news today. Like we had the story. It wasn't just that. It wasn't just them. I mean, there was a positive news for SoFi. We'll get as well. But you had Robinhood, I believe, with Football Prediction Markets partnering with Kalshi, and then you had transfers. It was like. What is it? It was
SoFi.
SoFi was the transfers news, both with positive news and both catching topping tails and then just harsh reverses. So it wasn't just directly into crypto. It was a lot of other things as well. I am still in SoFi. I've traded it at two prices. 24.5 was the breakout price. Then it turned off the support. Anything down at the bottom, we go for a trend break on SoFi. It broke trend, this trend line here. And it goes 23 to 23.3, where it still is. I got a trailing stop on it, trying to let it fly into 23.5, because that's kind of the obvious target for SoFi. But these all feel like we've hit a bit of a top, and we should be breaking trend at some point. If you have a healthy pullback, you break trend lines and then regroup somewhere else. If it breaks 23, it breaks the trend line on the daily. That's why I liked it bouncing off of 23 here, where we have it. But if we lose that, SoFi could be at $20, and would that be crazy? Was it $7? Well, it wasn't $7.
$20. It could be at $20 tomorrow.
Check that. It was an $8 stock in April, right? Yeah. But like if it goes to $20, that's a small pullback, really small.
SoFi will go to 20 before 30.
Oh yeah, I believe that. I think it's breaking trend tomorrow.
There you go. So we both think SoFi goes down $5 before it goes up 5. Okay, so right there it is right now. We got a dollar club finally right there on Palantir, dollar plus right now. Now $1.20 in the money off these dip buys. We've been sitting here since 2 o'clock is telling you guys that we're dip buying this name. So yeah, we're going to be happy when it gets back up to the upside. There it is, your dollar club winner there, and we're $3 in the money as well as we start to cover the futures. Right now, there could be a little bit of a late day push. I mean, I can see the strength getting to the high side right now with the Palantir trade. If others start to catch a bid as well, you know, Nvidia is going to catch a bid at some point, I think. And I was actually looking at this 177 break long on Nvidia, if that can go. We've seen some strength. I don't know about today, but recently in Amazon. Down as so for me, no, this does not look like it wants to break any of these levels. So that's a low take right there. Come on, Palantir, let's go. $1.20 in the money on that one. Yeah, look, see, like Apple doesn't look like it wants to go upside either right now. Advanced Micro Devices might, yeah. So some of these chip names looking pretty good. Let me check on SMCE, SMCI, right there. Yeah, so again, this one, possible bottom break. We're looking at like 200 period moves. So that would be $44. This actually looks pretty good as well there on SMCI as a possible break there for SMCI, 44. So yeah, a couple good names. I'll probably choose Nvidia just with comfort level, but I'm comfortable trading anything. So 177, that looks pretty good. SMCI might actually look better. What's up, Adara?
I just keep an eye here on Paramount, Sky, and also Netflix. I did mention this story yesterday. This isn't new, but CNBC now reporting this. Apparently, the Duffer Brothers, who are the creators of Stranger Things for Netflix, have now signed a 4-year exclusive deal with Paramount Skydance. This was reported as early as yesterday, but CNBC reporting this now, I guess, further being circulated. PSKY on watch here. That is Paramount Skydance following their merger. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. Paramount, well, see, there's something that's not terrible
stay short.
On the day. But yeah, this market going right back in. Like I was looking at, hey, Intel's up 7%. That could get to VWAP. It could go, and look at it roll right back into not the lows of the day, but like the lows since the open. So there's not really a lot of strength happening over there, unfortunately. Maybe SoFi can break out of this consolidation and move into VWAP, but it's going sideways. So unless you had the trend break, that's pretty much no good. Open Door could get going again. I do like this one above the prior close. Like when it was trying to go green, I think that would look pretty good. It's made a hard bottom. The market could go down. The squeeze name always has a chance regardless of what the market does. So if the volume can pick up here, maybe get above VWAP, that's worth keeping up. Because, you know, like as I said, I really don't see myself I'm not getting back into NEO or anything. That was a morning trade. And then as it tapers off in the afternoon, who cares about that kind of a thing? But open door looks like that could be spicy if you can get over the volume weighted average price. Let us know what else you guys are into. Right here's people talking about Tesla and Palantir. Tesla heading right back into the lows, nowhere near 327. To me, that's where the bottom is. Like, that's the level that I was outside of what we were trading this morning, which, you know, the dip into support here at 333 and then the breakout through 336. Those were the only levels I had, and the other one was 327. If we get down there again, I think I would look at that bad boy as well. What else we got going on here? Oh, thoughts on AMD into the close? Let's see what the levels are on AMD. Well, shoot. The thing about you have to zoom out so far on some of these. It could bounce. 166 looks like something. But you've got to show me, like, where's the actual reverse of trend? Like, look at it hold on to the trend here. Bang, bang, bang. Now I feel like that guy in the golf. What was it? What was the name of that enforcer in the golf game who was, like, knocking the guy out? And he was doing the
Golf
sound.
game.
He was giving sound effects while he was whooping the guy's butt. He's like, bang, bang. He's literally saying that. You didn't see
A
that
golf
video?
movie?
No, no, it was
Oh, that one.
the
Yeah,
rando
yeah,
guy
yeah,
that just
I
got
don't know.
filled.
Yeah.
What was the name of the? Anyways,
I actually didn't really
I'm
watch
giving my own sound effects. No, I saw like a bunch of people send it to me, and it was just like the guy's actually literally he's bothering to say bang when he's hitting the dude in the face, as if the guy getting hit in the face isn't aware of what's happening. It's like, well, I think I know that I'm getting hit in the face. You don't have to tell me with the bang. But that was
Bang is nice. Maybe that guy watches Trader TV Live because he's all about that.
Maybe. But for the question about AMD, you know what I'm going to tell you. Sure, I would go long in this if it can break this trend line. Look at how it's now riding the trend from VWAP. That's what you like to see for a potential trend break. You want to see it respect the trend line, and then if you're looking for, to me, if you're looking for a long, try to get a trend break. That's worked on a bunch of names today off of the lows. The problem is, after it worked for a bit, we just end up trending right back down. So you kind of have to get what you can out of the move and hope that the thing will sustain. So yeah, AMD, I'll throw that one up. If we can break this trend line, sure. I think it's a long, but that's a moving target. So the lower it goes, the lower the entry becomes on a trend break, obviously.
Okay, so we're kind of feeling the same kind of ways right now. We're getting more out of Palantir. I mean, as we've been going, I don't know, I just don't want to just keep talking about the same thing, but there's some more outs right there near the highs. I mean, I'm happy to take that. Those are all dollar prints as well. So we'll take it. The Dollar Club is just a fun thing we do. It doesn't really matter. You got to trade the levels, and it just turned out that right into here. We've already been up here before, and that's where it kept on failing. So we're just take some outs as it comes. And we'll take outs again. And if you are looking for a sophisticated way to trade some of these markets, especially on a day like today, Beta Pro by Global X Canada has just launched 6 new triple levered ETFs, offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60 semiconductors and U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fee to just 65 basis points until December 31st of 2025. These ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek out and neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indice. If you are a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3x daily to learn more. So go to betapro.ca, check out that 3x platform, and figure out what they're offering there. Interesting, you can get treasuries. I mean, that's pretty interesting to see that being offered as well. Yeah. Semiconductor index. I mean, on a day like today, if you're talking about, SMH, right now, you will be shaking your head looking at this stock, because right now this is again an ETF combined with all of the semiconductor names, and this is where you get a different level of exposure because you're only down 1.86% as opposed to an individual stock like an AMD down 4.5%, and so on and so forth. As we continue to talk about that, another lever name, of course, SOXL. That's going to be one levered to the long side, so there you go, down 3 times the move, or double, I guess. A little bit more than that of SMH. So again, different weightings, different holdings. The best part about trading is, in all these products, just scan the QR code, go figure it out yourself, figure out what the leverage is like, what the decay is like, and chart it out and see if it does fit your portfolio. So we want to thank Global X for their continued
something for everybody.
Yeah, we have Brian Shannon on tonight from Alpha Trend, so that should be big. We'll talk to him about what he sees in this market, about this recent move. I know he's going to tell me he's short, so we'll ask him why and how that led to that short position. And I think a lot of it is just off of the all-time highs. I mean, the Dow made an all-time high this morning and then just gave it back just like that. And so don't get too caught up in everything that this market's giving us today. We're down 1.4%, and it looks bad, right? It looks like it wants to continue to bleed a little bit lower. But we do have Jackson Hole, which is coming. Here's the cues right here. I'll just call this up. That's going to be a meeting of the minds there. They're going to discuss, hopefully, future rate hikes or cuts and what that looks like. You're going to hear more opinions being said, and that's Thursday and Friday.
Hopefully not hikes.
Yeah, of this. Hopefully not, but I don't know.
The market would be a little surprised.
I would hope not. That would be sending this market downside. And then we get, of course, retail earnings this week. Target, Walmart coming through. We had Home Depot today, which was a nice move. Was up 4 or 5% today. So
one of the only things.
Yeah, and then it's the small cap sort of AI kind of names today, or the ones that have been sort of blown out a little bit to both sides, up and downside. We got Rigetti today down 10%, so yuck on that. We got QBTS. I haven't even looked at this yet. I'm going to assume it's something similar. Yeah, down 7. IonQ. I'm going to, again, SMR, NewScale, some of these small modular reactors.
In fairness, though, it's not just the small ones. Like SMR
No,
down.
I think it's the space.
GEV's down 4%. I mean, the 4% is a lot for GEV. Like, that's like SMR going down 12%.
Oh, we got filled on the TQs?
That's just how it rolls. But like, this is something that was getting frothy too. Like the data centers are still getting built, but this can't go up forever. And all of these names have run into, we just got to some pretty frothy tops. But then the problem is, like, everyone's been saying that the entire way. But at some point, I don't know. I say this every single time. I feel like the number of times you hear the whole "don't sell at all-time highs." I don't know, man. When something like to not trim a position ever when everything is pointing to a top and it's consolidating and it's been a good. It's not in my DNA. So I think you do, and you look for places, like reasonable places to get back in. I would venture to say NG even over. I don't think we're anywhere near that yet. But on another note, there's also, look, I just saw someone put in Voyager in the chat. It was actually UNH that I wanted to get to. Because one thing that just came out, all those 13F filings came out. And on really big down days, like today, I know we're not down that much, 1.5%. But relatively speaking, it's been a pretty big day to the downside. Sometimes some strength or some buyers can emerge, right? So if there is the idea that Berkshire might be adding, or anybody that recently bought is wanting to increase a position in UNH and buying dips, sometimes you will find levels hold up. Now, I'm not saying I'm now all of a sudden certain that 300 is going to be a good level. That was the bottom on Friday. And that was the bottom again here today. So now you've got a double bottom. We can hold that a third day, and I start to like this trade a little bit better. It's a longer consolidation. I don't think we've proven everything yet, but that's what I like to look for, relative strength in a session like this. Intel kind of has it. Certainly UNH can just be showing you that there's still maybe some buyers at that 300 level, despite the fact that everyone says Warren's in at 312. I kind of thought he'd have a better price in that, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. I keep saying Warren, but I should be saying Berkshire.
I know. I want to correct you.
Yeah, that's my bad. It's just a habit. And over the years, if you're accustomed to saying Warren Buffett with regards to Berkshire, at some point, at some point I'll stop saying that. But 300 looks good. Tomorrow, if I can see it hold tomorrow, I'd be much more inclined to take a shot at some longs in UNH, because they won for 2 days in a row, but I would say they were disappointing longs in UNH, and maybe that bigger move could happen if we can hold on to the 300 level and get some relief rally tomorrow. All right, it looks like AMD's testing that trend line. Thought I saved it. Obviously, I did not save it because it would still be there if I had. So it's testing that trend line, looking for this one to break, close above the trend line, not just do a topping tail candle, close above the trend line, and try to catch some kind of a reversal here as the market continues to attempt to hold the bottom. If we can get a snipe, we can. If it doesn't, then what are you going to do? If we don't break the downtrend, I don't want to be long.
Yeah, so I'm long right now, and I just took the long on the TQs. So so far so good. So I didn't want to interrupt, but we are now long this name and hoping for more. So we bought some dips there. The thing is, we were short, right? So you guys, if you guys are like wondering what happened to that position, we flipped it up. We got filled. So we got filled there at the very bottom. We took $3 on it. And the reason why we took out that level there on the TQQs is that that was the level. So there's our fill right there. And then I punched long. So now we're long. If I say long again, then that means we're long. So we're long right now, and it's starting to go back upside. So we took out 10% at 30s there right now. The 50-period moving average is right here at 35s. I do have another offer at 39, but I think I'm just going to put one at 35, and then I'll cancel the 39 and see if we can get up a little bit higher than that. That is where the 50-period moving average is. Then we've come up here to 50, so we'll probably think about taking it out, and then we could see about the 200 up there at 89.70. So let's just see. I mean, it could. Hey, look, man, this could completely crap out again and fall back in, and then we're like, womp womp. But right now, that's what I'm going to try to do here with the triple Qs. Now, Palantir, again, right back into the money again. I'm going to take another offer here at 49, so there it is. We take that out. Now it's starting to go back in, so we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening with Palantir. We'll take another offer there. That's 90 cents in the money. Like, there are bids to go out here and go shopping and find out some good trades. It's just you got to find them. I think we did that with Palantir. Our patience winds up paying off, and now we'll just have to wait for the futures. And then I do like that Nvidia trade that I gave you guys breaking through 177, but I mean, it actually got pretty aggressive right there to the downside. So that 177 is the 200 period moving average. I'm actually going to say we need much more of a break than that. We need to get at least up to here to 177.20. I don't want this thing to dance around the 200 period moving average, and I just punch long there, because a fail there, we come right back in. So no, I don't like the long running into support. I like it, or resistance. I like it breaking that resistance. So a dollar higher from here on Nvidia gets me excited. So that's what we're going to wait for. Hopefully that move comes in sooner rather than later, but it's right now it's Nvidia waiting for that play. We took the futures long. We've got Palantir right now. But again, we ain't raw dogging this. Like, we are stopping out. If this breaks below 89, we're going to get out of the futures, right? And so that's what we're talking about. And I know it's a little suspect to do these trades right now, but I think the risk right now is to those that are short. The market's already come in quite violently there and just double touched the bottom. So I don't know. From my experience, I'm gonna favor the long, and that's what we're doing right now. So we're long Palantir, long the TQQs in hopes of a move upside.
Yeah, and remember, time frame is everything. Someone just like, your AMD long is $10 off. Well, it's not going to 157 today. And I'm not interested in it if it goes down to 157, because something really, really bad has happened in 1 hour if this goes to $157. The only thing I care about is there is the all-day trend. Is it trying to break? And if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I have my same stop. I don't raw dog it, because we're using that term now. On a trend break, my exit is always the same, the prior bar. Sometimes I'll make an exception and give it to the low of the day if that ends up being a better look. In this particular case, giving it to the low of the day makes no sense, but it's the prior bar low. It's the same thing that I was doing in SoFi, which is still not doing anything. SoFi did do a trend break. I like it on downward moves. Like, you find a trend. If it's all day, it's all day. If it's from VWAP, or maybe it's from like news could happen in the middle of the day, and then you get a trend going in one direction or not, wait for it to break, and then take that shot. That's, to me, the way I want to be a counter trend trade for sure. What do we have? Someone said something about Meta. Opendoor just tried to go above the volume weighted average price and rejected it again. So there it is going into VWAP. It spent zero time, well, not zero, that's wrong, almost no time above the volume weighted average price since the open. Like, in the pre-market, yes. At the open, it instantly was failing it. So even like a close above, and this is a long that I can get myself into. It's just looking somewhat strong, and the volume's also starting to pick up. If you can see that there at the bottom, which is something that I like to look for, especially in the afternoon. BMNR double top, but I don't want to. This one can go squeezing, and you got to pay attention to ETH here. If you like that to the long side, then you want ETH to be going with you. ETH is trying to bounce off the lows a little bit here. If I saw a little more strength in Ethereum, then I could favor that BMNR to the long side that you're mentioning in the chat there. Adara? Oh.
Just keep an eye on copper, I didn't mean to mention this story. We have a post here on Truth Social from President Donald Trump about these copper tariffs. So just keep an eye here. And FCX, this one right now looks like it's rejecting a little bit around that 41.30 level. Back to you.
Uh-oh, the hour of power is upon us, and the market just turning for another low possibly right now. So just be careful with all of that right here. So we're going to be careful with it coming through. So, all right. So here comes the market back in. We just took some more outs right there. Again, at the 50 period, we sort of talked about that. But here it comes right back in right now. So here we go. All right, so Palantir right back in. But like literally, we got $1 better than this like 3 minutes ago. So the market is fading right now back to this downside. I am bidding 50s still. I'll put a little bit more on here in the 70s. There it is. So we'll take a little bit more long here on Palantir as it just kind of comes into our level again. Hopefully we're able to absorb some of this and it will just float around here and then start to get going. But you can see the futures just give it all the way back up right now, right into the lows. That's sort of the bottom right here of the Nasdaq on the day. This is where we last covered our short. Remember, we were short all the way up here. So it was a good cover, but now it is fading out. So as Palantir comes in, as all of these names start to come in, you have to protect said neck because right now the market is heading downside.
It just can't bid.
Yeah. So there it goes. We just lost 89 there, so we get out of that one. We'll fail it on the reload, but not really. These are just sort of ebbs and flows right now of trying to catch these bounces, but it seems like a true trader, I think, would just be short. So we have to do that. We have to probably look for something short now instead of just trying to catch all of these moves to the backside. I said the risk I thought was to the short. I still don't think that because now the market is correcting me and saying, no, the risk is to the long. As we just right now take out the lows of the day, the Nasdaq down 1.5%. Look, I think it's a healthy pullback, to be honest with you. Stocks do need to sometimes reevaluate and have this pullback, shake out weak hands, get people to dump Palantir into your hands. We'll wait to see if that winds up happening, but there it is right there, man. Now we're going upside a little bit right now with Palantir. This is another one of those trades where we do have our stop in place, and the stop is at the low of the day, 157.30. So here we go. This is about a 1-to-1 trade if we take it here. I do think there's some more upside. We'll offer 77s, and we'll shout out Ray Bork and Paul Coffey. But for right now, this needs to get back up north of 158 for this to be a really true trade. So let's see if we can get going now on Palantir. And I believe, go over to Adara at the desk.
I think so.
Yeah, we are over here to me. I wanted to let you guys know here about the earnings and events for August 20th, 2025. That is tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is a very, very stacked earnings docket. We have some retailers like Estee Lauder, Lowe's, Target, TJX. We've got Baidu as well, Chinese ADR on watch, and then, of course, as well, Zim Integrated Shippings. I'm going to be releasing an infographic here pretty soon in terms of the expected moves for tomorrow morning's earnings. But I also want to let you guys know I will be off tomorrow, but X at TTV Research will still have a steady stream of posts. I've been pre-scheduling some posts, so you will not be missing any content while I'm gone. We'll still have these calendars for the day ahead. We'll have some other information throughout the day, so make sure to keep checking that X at TTV Research. Back to you.
Thank you for those updates. Obviously, enjoy the time off, and you'll be missed. But we'll make sure we get the watch list out there, just like normal Next Man Up. Or in this particular case, it takes two of us to do that in the mornings. But let's be real, we're in earnings season, but it's not as crazy as it used to be, which is good because then you can drill down and focus on the ones that are out there. Like this morning, I think it was Palo Alto, and I think when you look at the movers this morning, anytime a drug company like a Viking has a big trial result, that's actually more important than their earnings. So I think it just falls right into those categories. I know it isn't earnings, but to me, it's the same type of event there, and that's why Adair had that on the watch list as well. So I'm out of SoFi. It was trying to go. It was holding. The good news is it was holding. It just couldn't go when the market was trying to bounce. So I'm now out of that trade. Open door, forget about open door. It just kind of, not flush, but it just pulled back off you up with everything else. No love whatsoever. And I wanted to get to the super chat now, but hey, we got out of a trade, so I was going to show you that. I'll go to the fan funding because it was about Lululemon. Oh, we missed 2. That's my bad. I thought we only missed 1. Jedi as well. Could you check one of the only stocks in green, and how do you see those technically ahead of? Can you check one? What symbol is? Can you check one of the only stocks in green, and how do you see those technically ahead of earnings? I'm not sure I follow along. Did you mean something specifically, or in general, any stock that's green today? Maybe give us a clarification on that. And Bob, thoughts on Lulu earnings next week? Lululemon. Let's look up a chart of Lulu. I'm not a huge fan of the apparel names right now, but I'm going to pull up a monthly chart of Lulu because this was a couple of years ago. I had a swing trade in this, and it's getting close to. And you can obviously see it now that I pulled the chart up. I should have said it first. If you look at the 200 period on this monthly chart, where it's trending down, because someone asked me about this, I'm pretty sure a couple of weeks ago, and I said, well, on the monthly, it's breaking the support on the monthly. Like, why do we like the long when it's still going down and still showing you weakness? You want it to show a bounce off a level. Well, the big level from here, like about 120 into 174, which is huge, but that first support's at about the 474, 75 in front of the 200 period on the monthly chart. So I'm looking for it to hold this in any given month, show a bounce. But when these turn on a monthly, it bottomed out here at 250 and eventually went to $400, right? Did you need to be long in the first month that it bounced? No. You could have literally bought it the next month and still captured that, whatever the move was, like $175, so 70% move. You could have still captured that move without needing to catch the bottom. And I'm completely convinced that's how you trade these things. You wait for it to show you the confirmation. You can get in after. You don't have to chase. If you get it, you get it. And that's what I'm looking for on Lulu. But I'm not taking a shot until we test a little bit lower on this bad boy.
All right, yeah, thanks for all of that, everybody over there. Apparently the stock is BJ, so we can have a look at the BJ Wholesale. Okay. Yeah, so with the retail space coming, we'll have a quick look over there. I am starting a new position. I'm just going to go short now. You know, we were short the Nasdaq. This is the #1 P&L name today. And we're going to wait to see if it keeps on going. So we tried the long. We actually made money long, but, you know, we just gave it up right there one more time. So back in there, breaking through 89. Let's just go short now, flip it up again. And we got asked about that yesterday. Like now we see some levels right here, like this 89.10 area where we sort of were dancing around, had a couple wicks higher, then started pushing lower again into that, into what's going to be a print here after hours. So let's just, with the imbalances, it's still just power hour now. We saw the imbalance is still 40 minutes away. So we're not doing that. But if it does break through here, here's the 50 period on the 1 minute chart. Like I feel like we were starting to get going there, in which we started to cover. This is part of our short plan right there on the futures. But we are now into this one more time. I mean, we broke it there. We came back in. We kind of broke it there, came back in. So I'm just going to, like, let's just see if it wants to break 89.25s or so. We're short right now at 88s. Not necessarily the greatest trade of all time here. So let's just wait to see if it does pan out a little bit. We would like a downside push. And again, if we're going to be short here at 88 and our stop is going to be around those 10s, 11 areas, so we need at least 20 or 30 cents on this trade. The low of the day right now is 82, so we're right here right now, obviously. And we're just going to give this a try to see if the market does want to continue down, because, you know, getting like a bigger look on this is a 30-minute chart. I mean, we've now, boom, covered most of this, starting to break through this area right now. This is an interesting spot where we could possibly stop before potentially making one more lower move into like 566 on the Qs. So if I actually type in here TQQ, then we may have a little bit of a better look to see what areas could come into play. This is right here, 80, basically 88.50 or so. You know, the next kind of level. And if we are even luckier than that, then maybe we get a push into 88. But that's, I don't think I'd still be short, actually, at that time. If we get that low, it would be short small, but not enough to actually make any money. So, all right, so we're going to try some more here. We're not averaging in this until 89, so we're pretty close to getting that. We just want to make sure that we have a decent price and not a whole bunch of shares. in case they're like, I'd hate to be right and wrong at the same time. Like, we are trying to catch the bid. We caught it a little bit, but then not that much. So I don't want to just like push in and go all in with aces here. I don't think we have them. I just think that we are trying to play the pot size here. And
sometimes you don't even go all in with aces.
No, yeah. So I don't know. We're just going to sit here and wait, and hopefully this market will come in. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you got to play the field, which is what I was kind of getting at, and just see what it gives you. So I'll put a bid in there in around 74, 75, see if we can capture that 15 cents and make a little bit on that first 10%, and then we'll wait after that and see where it goes from there.
And where you can go, everybody, is right here and scan that QR code right in front of you, because I think this is a great cause. Empowered women change the world. We know this, and you can help to make it happen. The Woman Boss trains and mentors women and girls across Africa to lead, innovate, and thrive. And since 2018, they've reached over 10,000 women and girls. And your donation today can launch the next great entrepreneur. Scan the QR code on your screen now and join us in building a brighter future. I think obviously a pretty solid cause there as far as I'm concerned. There was a couple. This is a question, I'm just going to address this. JD Garcia, easy answer. What chart are you using? So the charts that you see Sean and I use, we're using the P8 system here. So our charting is part of the P8 platform that we trade on here at Real Trading. Now, any other chart you see Sean or I use or show you will be an e-signal chart. Right? So we use e-signal, but when I'm showing you the trades and the executions, that'll be just right on P8. Which is a proprietary platform here at Real Trading, which we've been trading on for some time. I have my eyeballs right now on Intel, as you can obviously see. We got out of SoFi, which couldn't really hold on, and Intel, for whatever reason, the breakout at the open at 25.12, or whatever that, 10, 12, whatever you want to call it, and where we got a bit of a trend break, it's holding that same low. So you know what I'm going to say next, because it's more or less the way I like to look at things, and you kind of have your own plan. If it can break trend and holding that low, then I go into a bit of a long. It's held a support level. That's not enough for me. I want it to start winning, just like we're looking for an AMD and like what SoFi did. So I have this one up on the side, and that's what I'll wait for. I just kind of want to take that quick little shot. We're into power hour now, so you get those last few salvos. Sometimes you only have like one trade. Like the other day, I think all afternoon, it was really just, I was just short wolf like several times, and there was nothing else. Like that's all I did. It just kept on going down, and that can be fine, but it has to be good, and you have to make sure you find a setup that works for you on your own trading style. Lots of people in the chat here. You got that's a good one. Lots of jokes in the chat. SSYS, I see that's a name in here. Here's what we can do though. It's like 312, so I'm going to restart this. Because if there's anything that you guys want us to look at, then I'm just going to go fresh start here. And what you're going to do, everybody that's in the chat, well, first of all, if you're not in the chat, get in the chat. And to do so, be a subscriber. So hit the subscribe, hit the like, then you can jump into the chat. Type $ and the ticker that you're interested in for whatever reason. Make sure it's a real ticker, like I would go $, let's say Tesla. And then Tesla, in theory, would show up. A bunch coming in: Marvell, Palantir, AS, Tesla. I just typed that in. Coin, Nvidia, SSYS, which someone had just mentioned, CoreWeave, Hood. And then we can check back in. Like right now, it looks like Coinbase. Well, for a second, Coinbase was taking the cake, and now Robinhood. It's a nice little battle. I love how real time this is. It's almost like you guys see, oh, my horse is winning the race. I should be hitting that one. So Coinbase, Robinhood, mostly in the crypto space, which that tracks, right? Like that tracks for me, because I think that's what's moving the most today in a general sense, or things that are adjacent to the crypto space. You know why, and it's okay, we got to figure something out here. I think I know why ETH and Bitcoin don't ever make this. Can we just make a conscious decision, everybody, that if you want ETH on here, just go like ETHA?
I've seen people put IBIT on there before.
Yeah, IBIT gets on there, but ETH doesn't, I find. Maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe you go ETH or ETH, like whatever. It's just
one of them.
Yeah, like just pick one of the ETFs and like throw that one in there, and whichever one you see, if you want it to be ETH, just throw that up. But I find on a day where crypto is moving, yeah, we'll see Coin, we'll see Robinhood, but like I don't even see IBIT on here, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And maybe that's just not your preference. That's fine too, everybody. Like I'm not trying to force you guys into wanting us to talk about crypto. It's just I feel like maybe there's something missing as to why it doesn't make the list, and it could be the formatting because it's easy to type in a symbol, but some people like IBIT and maybe you like a different.
Remember, like
ETF.
half of our audience doesn't even own crypto.
Like it's fair. Maybe that's just a me thing.
Yeah.
I just thought maybe there's another reason why it doesn't make that.
I mean, we are tank city right now in crypto. I feel like, honestly, I like down 3%. It's not that it's tanking. Like if you Google what does tanking mean, but probably has nothing to do with the stock market. But anyways,
what the Colorado Rockies are doing.
Yeah, this just looks like, or what every NBA team does about halfway through.
True.
This just kind of looks like it's a pretty good move in. And, you know, if you look at the futures, I mean, I don't know. Some people are like, they don't have much correlation. But, I mean, obviously, I think they do. Right there in IBIT, there's probably studies that'll prove me wrong. But today with the downside move, as goes IBIT, still making the move lower. Oh, I did want to say, we do have a segment called... I just wanted to show it to everybody. So we got like this fake processed... pork on our, which I've already asked numerous times. No, it's turkey, I think it's supposed to be.
You got the bolognese.
No, so I just went over there now and there was some left over. So I was just like, I was going to try some of this. It's not...
it looks good.
I got some
mean,
carrots.
anything's better than the... I didn't
reheat it. I
call it spam.
Sitting here thinking like, need to try something here because after, just went on the elliptical for 30 minutes, but after that, just trying to, you know, get some more back in here. And that was just, that protein was not, I probably won't eat it. I just more wanted to try it. All right. Maybe the market goes for a run here.
Better than going up
and
and
honestly, if it does, then we'll get out. I mean, I do think that it is kind of getting primed up maybe for a little bit of a rally back. I mean, we're not getting huge spikes in buy volume. I mean, if you look at the bottom here, like, you know, that's a big spike right there, obviously. We've had a couple tries down into here to get back going. We had 4 or 5 straight green candles in this area, which does make that move higher, but still a fail at the 50-period moving average on a 1-minute chart. They broke it there, but, you know, and then there's a run there of about like 4 or 5 candles, maybe 7 or 8 out of 10, got it going. But yeah, for right now, let's just see if we can get this push, maybe back a little bit lower now, try to break that low of the day. And then after that, like once you break the low of the day again at 315, 330, something like that, then it's like all bets are off. The market could continue to go down. So I like my, I don't know if I'd put the odds any better than 50-50 that this goes up or it goes down, but I'm going to bet just with the way the market's been playing that I like our shot here at a short rather than a long. And the long could still print, no doubt, but I'd like to see a true break. We've been messing around with this 50 period a bunch of times. It needs to break for sure here, 89.55, but I don't want to hold this short all the way up to a breaking level. I want to do it to a level that I'm confident with. If it breaks that level, then we can get out. And it's kind of like we'll just dust the dirt off our shoulder type of thing, right? So that's what we're trying to do right now is try to play something where I think the odds are a little bit more in our favor. I'm bidding some 86s here to get something out. So there it is. So we get a little bit out. We're short 93. We'll just take a little bit there. We are also bidding, 76. I'm going to put 5% down at 83 here, low 80s. See if we can get that fill. That is the low of the day, 88.82. Right there, the low of the day. So we'll put it right there. See if we get that fill, and then wait for that break, which should give us everything we need. You know, today's market, I mean, Neil and I talk about being diversified a little bit. There are pockets of strength. I mean, the industrials are up today. Whoopsies, what did I just do? The industrials are up a little bit today. But this tech service, technology services and electronic technology, okay, both of these getting crushed right here. So we got to be very, very careful with these plays. But there it is, consumer non-durables, Procter & Gamble, like stocks that have dividends associated with them today, as people are a little scared potentially of their portfolios. They may be looking to grab some stock that aren't as worried about interest rates or anything like that, or might have huge cash flow, like Coke there, Pepsi, Philip Morris, Procter & Gamble. Come on, I mean, this all makes perfect sense as all of these plays are going to be kind of safe dividend, kind of like, what your parents might be investing in as well. Berkshire obviously up today, so we're really happy with that. We love some Berkshire. And the fact that the financials really aren't getting hit that much is pretty good. JP Morgan down a little bit, Visa down just quite a bit. Not that much, 0.21. What I was actually looking for was the industrials.
Hey, look at PayPal.
Oh, here it is over here. Yeah, so some of these industrials today, waste management there as well, Otis, of course, elevators, but this was a positive. I think there's more sectors positive than I actually even thought here today. It's just this side where most of us are looking and where a lot of our portfolios lie.
Like, look at Broadcom. Ew.
Yeah, where's Broadcom? Yeah, but yeah, again, another name that's up at 52-week highs, and yeah, it does have a valuation situation. Look, AMD, 550, 5.5%. Look at the biggest and the baddest of them all. Like, you couldn't find anybody bearish on Oracle, and that's now down 6%. So yeah, man, like all of these names. Oracle is a 50-year-old company. So like Palantir getting hit, like it's just, this is across the board right now in this space, across the market, in the tech space anyways. I think we did a decent job of looking at some other spots that might have some give to them. And I'm gonna talk about that with Brian tonight. Is there a sector that he likes with his experience that has been worth it now? And that's why you sort of diversify, right? You guys know I've been buying some Berkshire as well. You don't want to put everything in the same pocket, but I am still, my portfolio is still 80% at least.
Think of one place you want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Easter egg hunts?
Oh, the Bills winning the Super Bowl this year.
That you definitely don't want to go all in on.
Was that a call for Adara? Yes. Okay, we're going to go to Adara and come back because one name has now jumped definitively to the top of the list.
But on OKTA, this is OKTA, their cybersecurity name. Betaville, which is this website that seems to, I guess, mostly publish about deals or potential deal making, said that they read a report recently that apparently OKTA is being viewed as an acquisition target. So they're not reporting this. They're reporting that they read that OKTA could be an acquisition target. So OKTA on watch again. Betaville, which is just a publication mostly about deal making, flagging this one as maybe a look for an acquisition. As you can see, rallied initially here, settling down a bit now. Back to you.
Tough place to make a deal when things are at highs. When the market's at the highs, that when you buy. No, man, you gotta make sure you're buying up that stock when, especially if you're looking for an acquisition. Get that good value in there. So we have Tesla jumping to the head of the leaderboard, Robinhood, Palantir. Coinbase fell off bigly, as Sharif likes to say. That was in the running. But Tesla, look, I don't know what we're going to be able to say that's any different from before. Tesla tracking down to the low. At least my whole thought with Tesla today is you're positive in that you're above that 200 period and this triple, now 3 days in a row, this bottom holding 327. It's not an insignificant level. It's been putting in higher lows basically the entire time since earnings, but it's a bit of a wedge forming. So it cannot get through 350. It doesn't seem to want to break 300. Right now, 327 is a bit of a line in the sand. There's an outside chance it could flat bottom break this before the end of the day, but the way that it's trading, it doesn't feel like there's enough juice down for it to break down. So it could be a flat bottom break tomorrow, or maybe we're going long off that support like today. But Tesla, I kind of put it in the category of stocks for on a higher time frame, waiting for it to do something big. I'm not a buyer of Tesla shares in my long term here, and I'm not selling any in this range. I'm not scared until we either break like a channel down like that, or I'm not getting excited until we break a channel up. It's failing every time it breaks the channel, can't open the next day holding, and it's failing every time it breaks the channel down. So at some point, this resolves itself with a big move. And Tesla's going to make a big move, but it has not resolved itself with a big move just yet. So you're in like scalp mode and day trade mode or something else for Tesla until we get a little bit more excitement. But it's going to happen. You don't condense like this forever and then the stock, it just doesn't happen. Like there's zero examples, I would imagine, of that happening on any stock where you get a wedge like that, where you don't get some kind of a break. And you don't care as a momentum. If you're looking for momentum, you shouldn't technically care which way it breaks. You just want to look to get more active in either direction. So Intel did break that trend down. There it is, stop at the prior bar, first resistance into 24, it's about 24.45, and then throw VWAP in there if it can get to the volume weighted average price. The other says 270 is the final boss on Tesla. I always like to use the term the Alamo on the chart, but I like that one too. The final boss is 270. Well,
final boss is Rock. WWE, that's where it's
yes.
from. Yeah. I'm sure it's from a video game.
All video games have that final boss, though, which sometimes is underwhelming. But what was it? It was Shang whatever in Mortal Kombat. I always forget the last name. Shang-Chi, or whatever, it doesn't matter, in Mortal Kombat. But then Goro, I always thought was like one of the...
Yeah, I thought he was one of the final bosses over there.
Yeah, but he was kind of like the second, but he looked so dumb. He's one of the worst. Like, Goro doesn't look like you fight anybody. Like, he's just all awkward with the big arms. It's like, yeah, he's big and everything, but...
Yeah, it's the arms that...
It's just like, he looks so gangly. Like, why did anybody think that was... And I like it versus Street Fighter Mortal Kombat. I always thought it was a little bit ridiculous, Goro. And then when you did the movie, it was even worse.
Right? All right, so BSLK, is that what you mean, Corleone family? I cannot ignore you. Right there. So I don't know what was it about BSLK. So if it was right here, I do have it up. This is, of course, ultra low float name that really started getting going here. They showed Q2 results and float fewer than 1.4 million shares right now. We're about to get stopped out on the TQs right now. All right, so we just averaged into this rate here at the 50 period. That's 32.30. This is kind of where we want to stop out now. We told you we've been sort of above the 50 period, but I want to make sure that it runs a little bit further. 89.36. Like I said, we're playing this to the short side, but we're not trying to use a whole bunch of shares, 2 units, so a decent amount of shares, but we'll see. Right now we're out of the money 20 cents. I don't know. Okay, so that BSLK, let's go back over to it just real quickly here. BSLK, I hope that's what you're looking for. Don Corleone. All right, so Bolt Project, public biomaterials name, vegan proteins and stuff like that I was just reading on. But again, when you have an ultra low float, you do get moves like this, up to $12. Look at all the volume sort of coming off. I always again, this is going to be cherry picking because I can clearly see what happened, but these big green spikes like this right into here, like that, sometimes these can sort of initiate frenzies and people getting stopped out and having to punch out. So it looks like 11 or 12 might have been that level. And then we really haven't seen very many spikes since then. In fact, now the volume's completely died down. So I would say what you're going to do on BSLK is slow down. You don't need to be in this name right now, I don't think. It is coming into some levels, so if you are in this, I'd watch out for $8 breaking. But again, that spike happened to 12, so if we go back just a little bit, we've already you can see this plays happen numerous times. And like I said, an ultra low float name, 1.4 million shares. There it is right there from April of 2021. Something happened there where it went from 40 cents up to $6, faded all the way back in, and really had a great level there of 210. This is where you kind of wish that you were in the know, because if you knew that some of these trials were coming, you do have a decent spot there. But again, to go long at $2 doesn't mean it's not falling back to 40 cents. So that could have been disastrous as well.
Well, you don't want to raw dog that. You got to have yourself a stop.
Yeah, but the problem with raw dogging these stocks, right, is the fact that when you wake up the next day, you realize that you in fact do not have a stop order. And even if you did, like this, it's not like if you went short here, you could have covered, you would have came in and it would already been huge, right? Just like kind of today, where yesterday, if you were short at the end of the day, you're probably shorting around here $7. By the time the market opens up, well, it's actually not that bad. That's already $8.30, $8.40, and then it goes up to 12. So
I have a somewhat obvious question, but just to get the answer out there, I'm going to ask you this. Would you ever feel comfortable swinging a stock like that if you couldn't execute in the pre-market? If you had if you could only execute you couldn't execute pre and post market, how comfortable would you feel in one of those things holding it? Because I know I really wouldn't.
I think I would never put a lot of money into a name like this. So I think that going into it, you just hope that it doesn't happen to you. So I would feel comfortable doing it because I think that in order to make money, you got to risk something.
True.
And this kind of a stock makes sense. I mean, it's a good question. But yeah, that's the problem. We had another stock that was up 100% today.
I think the problem is so many of those gains, sometimes the tops are made in the pre-market. So often you see that happen. So to not have the ability to take profit up there or to trail out up there or stop out if it breaks down just makes some of those things really unappealing for small cappers. So I'm not telling everyone out there and make sure your broker does that. I'm just saying for myself, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Because I think there's so much alpha in the pre-market trading. And some of that has to do with how people will pump and dump and all that stuff that happens online. And
believe
there's nothing you can do about that. You can't really do anything. But look at Viking this morning if you couldn't have traded in the pre-market. That's a great example. And that's not even a small company. Yikes.
Yeah, just everybody, I do know what raw dogging means. And it's like an inside joke with my family. So I brought it to you guys.
Now we're going to never stop saying it. Never.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever.
So, nothing changes around here. We brought a lot of stuff that keeps getting used, and that's what we want to do, right? We want to talk about that. Like, for example, you sometimes say, get it, Adara, or get it, Sharif, and that comes from those two. So we can all share our stuff. We share our roll call. And pretty soon we are sharing more with you guys because Studio 8 is about to pop off. We have a lot happening, man. Mark is now in China. He's going... China.
Where did that come from?
That's pretty good. He's getting trained up on some of the new technologies that we will be providing to you guys. And yeah, we're really super, super excited about all of that. So yeah, all right, so that's what we're doing right now. Well, people are saying Uber was really strong. Go ahead.
Specifically why he's going is that entire, you can't see because it's just a gigantic black wall. That's going to be something very, very special, let's just say. And he is getting trained up on making that happen, just so you know. You said Uber. Uber is doing really well.
Yeah, Uber's up 1.3%.
There's not an obvious reason why. There isn't an obvious reason why, but I like it.
I mean, I wrote down on the Tesla thing that I thought Tesla was going to go up because of robo-taxi, and that sometimes would be bad for Uber, but not today, as Uber right now, $96 high, $96.50 high, and holding. This might be a good little breaker 19 as well, if it breaks VWAP, $95.50 coming into play right there. I did want to check in on my Nvidia trade to see if that's happening yet. Nah, not really. Oh boy, it's okay. I'm going to cancel the 177.30 break right there. We were going to go long if it broke that level, but now I'm thinking like that might be too far gone because we haven't broke through this 50. Okay, we're going to get stopped out on this futures trade. Boo, that's too bad. We're 5 cents away from getting that. We're 30 cents out of the money on that. Nah, that's too bad. Okay, so we'll give a little bit back on the day, about 30% or so back on that short. So not great give back on that. But yeah. That's a little bit too far away for me on Nvidia. Like, I don't want to get to the 50 and then the 200 and then it comes back through. But if we take this long, that would be 170, maybe a little bit higher. Yeah, I don't know. The real break right there, if we just zoom in exactly, that's 60s. What is this level looking like? 80s, and 20 cents makes a difference. Okay. I was just going to say, because I would probably stop myself out. So this is what I do when I'm looking at trades and figuring out what to do. It's, and share size especially, true. It's like, where is my out? So this coming back in, this 50-period moving average probably would be my out there on Nvidia. So if we did wind up breaking there, that's 60s. We have to get out at 12, so 50 cents or so. So, 100 shares is $50. Like, that's kind of the math that I'm trying to figure out. And then especially late day trade, I don't want to just blast in and the next thing like you're up a couple $100 and you take 1,000 shares or something and you lose it all in one idea. So no, we're going to wait on that. But yeah, Nvidia looks like it could be at that break, and I think it might be worth taking. We are going to get stopped out of our future. Well, looks like we're going to stop out of our futures trade very, very soon as the market is now breaking higher. We thought that this was a chance to do this. And Palantir is right back up to 158.60 right now. But I'm looking at this Nvidia break, man. 176.60, I think, isn't a horrible break. We haven't broken that 200 period all day. Right off the open, obviously, it came back in. So, yeah, that trend change would be basically good to go in and around that area. So that could be something, man. 160, there we go. We got stopped out of our TQ position, so boo on that one as there that goes. But yeah, I'm really thinking about that Nvidia trade now, especially that the futures have sort of climbed a little bit higher. Something to consider there with Nvidia on that 176.60 break. But now there's only 20 minutes.
Riven Millionaire loves Netflix, he says.
Okay, it was down 3% today at one point.
Well, it's still, it's not down. It's not at the lows, but 2.5% down. It's above VWAP. It's not really moving a heck of a lot, but hey, off the lows is about as good as you're going to get on a day like today. Oh, that chart. Oh, I wanted to be with you on that one. I really did. I like Netflix. I own Netflix, and never got back into Disney after putting all my Disney into Netflix. That worked, but my intention was at some point to try to get back to the House of Mouse, and this never did. This is, it doesn't look good. It's like a nice little bounce. We literally just lost a 50 period and then also lost a small little bit of a trend line there. So I'm not necessarily as good a look there. And just very quickly, the trend break, I'm not really going to change my rules. Sometimes it ends up in a bottoming tail wick, but the prior bar candle on the trend break is my out, so that's exactly where the out was. Might have actually gotten a good fill there, but it ends up bouncing after the stop. But I'm only looking for a trend break that works right away. You know, I don't want to make a mess of it. This market, if you have to convince me that the thing I'm looking at is going to be a trend break. AMD's trying to do it again. We'll show you the early look on the imbalances. Spoiler alert, nothing too big just yet after we get back from Adara.
Yeah, just take a look here at our pre-market earnings moves. As I mentioned earlier, we have quite a few high-profile names reporting tomorrow before the bell. Target, TJX, Baidu, Lowe's among them. So if you're wondering how much are these going to move and what time are they expected to be released, you can check this out right now in X at TTV Research. Back to you.
Right. So Baidu, Alibaba, was it Alibaba on there? No. Okay, yeah, so some Chinese names. And the big one for me is going to be the retail names, of
Yeah,
course.
that's the big deal this
We'll
week.
wait to see what they're doing. I don't know if Nvidia is going to.
It rounds out with Walmart on Thursday.
Yeah, Walmart could be a good one for sure. All right, what are people talking about? I know we just sort of looked at this, but let me just have a one. Okay, so I didn't reset this from the beginning, but Tesla still 330, down 1.5% right now.
It's still number one.
Tesla, okay, so Robinhood down 7%. Like Robinhood down, Palantir down. I think there's some opportunities there for sure. CoreWeave down to $92. I do not like that. I do not really. There's BSLK. Okay, it was actually on here. Up 15% there today as well. NEO, BMNR, Intel up 7, so that's real good. There, AMD, Nvidia. So I think we've covered most of these. Open Door down to 360 again. That's a level that was holding yesterday. I think that's something to look at. I would think right now. That's Open Door. So if Open Door does want to hold it, if I believe yesterday's levels on Open, it was rated, it was lower, so 340. All right, so not 360, 340 level there for Open Door. So I'd say we have a little bit more ways to go, but it doesn't look like we're breaking anytime soon. That's 355, 356. Pretty calm right here as the market just figures itself out heading into the close. So yeah, good job there today for Open Door. Down though, but lots of opportunity. Opportunity early, opportunity late to short. Now, not much opportunity at all. It's Open Door.
But always an opportunity to level up your trading game for 1 month free at eSignal, everybody. They're still doing it. Free is free. Last I checked, that was a good price. You get to try out a professional trading platform with reliable market data, with tick charts, with level 2 access, every indicator you can imagine, including maybe you like moving averages. I don't know. Maybe you like AVWAP, that's another one out there. Volume control, all kinds of different things. A balance locator as well, if you're interested in that. Tick charts, 5-second charts. API access. You can trade directly through the platform through 50 plus brokers as well. Automate your trades, as I said before, with AI access. And 1 month is free. So scan the QR code you see out in front of you. Trade smarter, not harder with eSignal. Give them a shot. And, I think I keep forgetting. Remember I was saying we need to look at the entitlement because you had more data on the locator. I don't need the locator data. We have it in P8, but I forgot to check the next time I see something halted if I'm getting the full data. And if we get another big IPO, it's just useful because what you're able to sort of see is not just the indicated price. You're able to see like the current spread a little bit as well. And when that tightens up, you get closer to opening up, which is not that bad of an indicator because we tend to always anticipate when is this finally going to open, and there's some kind of a tell when the spread starts to close up a little bit here on those IPOs. Although with this market pullback, I feel like the next couple of IPOs might have missed that really good window because when we're trending, it's so much different when you're IPO on the way up. When the market is topped and pulling back, might not be the best time in the world. I'll just leave it at that. We'll see.
We'll see.
But I don't know what else is big. There was.
But don't you feel like this is the kind of talk that gets us in trouble because in Nasdaq this is 1 day.
No, I know. I'm just
we
thinking.
were just at all-time highs yesterday.
But the other part, I guess, the other part of it is the performance of the last few. Like CoreWeave and Circle had great opens and then ran for days and weeks, right? Where Figma just goes straight down and Bullish just goes effectively straight down.
Check out some Bullish.
And I haven't looked at Bullish today, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say that it did not have a bullish day. Let's be real. If Bullish is up today,
I mean, Robinhood is down 6%.
Yeah, there's no way Bullish is up. I haven't looked at the chart today, but I know there's no way it's up.
No, it's down 7%. I mean, very, very similarly to everything else.
Could be worse.
This is what happened. this is what bullish looks like. I mean, it's only 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think it's going to be going lower. But again, you know, Peter Thiel, all these guys, you know, all the insiders, trust me, man, these guys are
37.
Yeah, we'll have to wait to see what happens. The 37 was the issue price there for BLSH. Probably Coinbase getting clocked as well today. Yeah, down to 303. Wow. Okay, Coinbase down 6% today as well. This is not even. This is just the start. Like, I am long only, and it's not good. Like, you are now starting to break below some key levels, right? Like, not holding this 50-period moving average. We just talked about what crypto possibly, you know, at risk of going lower through, breaking through the 50-period moving average and trying to retest about 100, where we've last seen some decent support. I think there's some support at 108 as well. We're at 113 right now. But there's Coinbase on that drop down there. And I mean, just to talk about IBIT, as a lot of you might be in IBIT rather than Bitcoin, but there it is. See, there's a 50-period that we're talking about. So, yeah. At risk for sure, but a good price also. Like, you know, there's that 10% move down that everybody's looking for. You know, you want to pick up on weakness, that's for sure, which is what I was saying, like maybe going home tonight, looking a little bit through the old accounts and trying to figure out if there's something that, you know, looks real good. But again, I don't want to jump the gun on all of this. This is now basically 4 straight down days. Generally speaking, 3 or 4 days is when you kind of look to see, is there going to be some kind of a rebound? Is there not? And then you use the 3-day rule. Normally that is reserved for earnings or for major individual stock announcements, but yeah, for right now, IBIT, you know, getting hit to the downside. We'll wait to see where that winds up settling. Yeah, you can use 10%. That's funny there, Matt. What's up, Matt Mers? You can lose 10% an infinite amount of times. Yeah, until it's eventually zero. Just check out stocks like Mullen and CEI and all these other names that have gone by the way of the minus 10% per day, and then eventually you get squashed. And that's why it was like we were talking about that move up in MSOS or Tilray or ACB.
Yeah, at some point.
Like, I'm already down at 98%.
You got to ring the register when they
you got to be careful with all that. I'm still short the futures, trying to get a little bit more out here, 24, 25s. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening. We did get stopped out there, but we got back in. The imbalances.
There's nothing here, really.
There's nothing. I mean, we've got, oh, you have it up. Go to Neil's screen, it's a little bit bigger, but it buys and sells.
Yeah, there's nothing much early, like CX, SU, Kenview, that's always there, FCX. We'll see if there's anything that's actually big at about 350 when the Nasdaq names start to hit. You only get an early look on the New York names, right? Like, the only reason that we're able to show you anything at this time of day, this time where you have an early imbalance, is because, you know, with the old floor system, I mean, there's still a floor, right? And you have early orders coming in, and there's at least information to be disseminated. We just see all the Mag 7 and all the NASDAQ ones just populated 350. Any NASDAQ names probably from earlier or it halted, which was hilarious because my Halt scanner, I love it when they do testing at the NASDAQ because my Halt scanner is all the test symbol. Those. It's literally like all of it is just they keep halting the test symbol. One of them, ZX, ZZT. I thought it was ZVZZT. I guess they must have two. But there's not even a lot of halts today, which shows you like you're not getting the crazy moves in the small caps either. It's that kind of day. Like sometimes you get more juice out of those, right? So AMD technically didn't really break the trend and close above it. So a little bit more of a patient entry, break the trend, closed above, didn't chase, waited for the pullback, prior bar out, like always. And I just heard, there is a stock that's halting, but it's a nothing burger. Before someone asks me, PSHQ is halting around. This must be on news. I just heard it in my ear that this opened back up, but I don't know the news off the top of my hand. Something clearly going on here because this has done less than 1 million shares and just started doing volume now. Like literally no volume all day, and now 800,000 in volume on whatever this is.
I'm going to look into it, but I know off the top of my head 100% sure this is one of the ones that Donald Trump Jr. is involved in. I'll say that right now, but I haven't done research on the story yet. I just know that off the top.
That is good to know. I did not know that, but that is certainly good information off the top of the head. But obviously moving. This could easily...
an investigation closing.
Yeah. Investigation closing. It could halt again, by the way, because it's only $2 stock, so it doesn't have to move very far to go into another halt. Easily, I think it's at the halt. Well, not yet, but it's getting close to a potential halt to the upside a second time around PSQH. Thank you, Sean, of course.
It is
with the
halting.
news. It's going into the halt band.
I bought it.
It keeps on breaking the halt band.
I bought it. All right, I'm in PSQH here. So all I need to hear is Trump, and I'm down. So right here, PSQH. So we're in this name here, long at 09s, waiting to see. Let's get something out. I don't know. $2.18 the high. I don't want to. I mean, if this breaks back down below 2, which it may do very, very shortly, that's sort of that halt. We don't want it to halt on us again. So I think a break of like, I don't know, I wish I could sort of calculate where this spot is. We're not in it very heavy. We're just hoping that maybe it could go on a break there by PSQH. Adair's got the story, so we'll wait to see what it is. But let's go find out right now, and then we'll see the price action when we get back.
Yeah, this is a pretty wild one, guys. So what happened here is we have PSQ Holdings again. Donald Trump Jr. is involved in this name. He's on the board. They announced that apparently the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has closed their investigation into Credova. So Credova Financial is a wholly owned subsidiary of PSQ. Now, why is this interesting? Because we know Donald Trump Jr. is involved in the board, and specifically this, I guess, this notification or this brief, for lack of a better term, this press release, that's what I'm looking for, outright says, oh, well, thankfully, President Trump and the acting director of the CFPB were able to close this investigation. They called it politically motivated. Basically, there's a lot of the timing of this is pretty interesting. The context of this is interesting. So long story short, PSQ Holdings announcing that the CFPB has now closed its investigation into Credova, a wholly owned subsidiary of PSQH. And again, the company is saying that this was entirely politically motivated and thanking President Trump, whose son is on their board. Back to you.
Yeah, so what a surprise.
Never
maybe,
a dull moment.
Maybe Tom Lee will be on the board and they can go into an Ethereum trust. Maybe that could be a play. And I hope it does because we are now long, of course, on PSQH. And decent story. Look, I'm waiting at 18s. That was sort of the high of that move. If it gets up there, great. If not, we'll punch out. I just told you, a break through $2 and we'll get out. We just don't want to be part of a halt to the downside, right? Because then the next thing you know, it just gets back to this $1.65 area. And as Neil mentioned before, or
maybe it doesn't even open up till the after.
Or it doesn't even open up, and then I'm going to have to answer to somebody. So right now, we're just going to have to wait to see what winds up happening here. I am offering 18, so if it does come back up to the upside, good. Right now for PSQH, I have no idea what they do or anything, just trying to follow the money flow here in this name. So, again, the plan is pretty defined. I like having defined plans. We ain't raw dogging this one, that's for sure. So we'll wait to see where it goes. And there it goes. All right, so Dale. We got out so we lost 8 cents, actually, I think we got actually even better price. Yeah, we got 99s there. Okay, so a good price on that one. We tried it.
You want to know what the description reads as?
No harm done. Sure.
Just out of sure, because I don't know this either, so I just looked it up, and this is the description. PSQ Holdings operates the website and mobile application named Public SQ. It is an app and website that connects freedom-loving Americans to high-quality businesses that share values both online and in local communities. It has 3 reportable segments comprised of marketplace, and then yada yada yada. So I don't know. I'm not even sure if I know. It's like almost like yada 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 finance. But
so Neil, please write a report of exactly what you just said.
No, but this is my whole. Look, there's companies where you read the first couple of sentences of one of those. I'm like, okay, great.
And you understand what it is.
And and there's other ones where I read
NVIDIA, we make chips or something like that. Yeah.
What are we talking about? I don't know. I don't know what you do.
Someone said they're involved with Klarna and stuff like that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. And again, it's just like if you don't get it, you don't get it, and it's fine. I'm perfectly okay.
Not a name to Raw Dog.
Not a name to Raw Dog at all. I was just asked in the chat how far further down I think HIMS would go, and you probably worded it better than I just said it, because I think I just bumbled that. I'm pretty sure I did.
Well, Bumble, another name.
40. This move, just from a technical standpoint, it might be the same question that was asked. Like, ever since this broke down on HIMS, there's the trend. It broke the trend. $40 is prior support in June. $40 is the 200-period moving average. So $40 is the first place that I would look for even a long on this stock. That's about it. So the HIMS, I think sometimes it's somewhat simple technically when you look at it. But whether or not 40 is a bounce, I don't know. If we bounce off 40 tomorrow, I probably try a mean reversion trade off it. It doesn't mean it's going to work. It just means it's at a level. That's all you can do. There's a line in the movie The Core. And one of the characters says, like, that's all science is, best guess. But that's what a trade is. This is the level I'm looking for.
Isn't that the opposite of what science is?
Well, it's kind of at the point that he says it, it makes sense in the movie because it's a bunch of scientists. Like they're going to the core, but no one knows exactly what the core is made up of.
Right.
At some point, like it's kind of they were experimenting, but in this particular case, like any other crazy movie, they're experimenting with the fate of the world. It's actually a pretty good film. I think it's underrated.
I wonder.
It's a good movie, actually. It's quite a good film.
All right.
Budget could have used a little bit more, but
I wonder if some of that sci-fi stuff is gonna ever hit, man. Like, I don't know. You know, will we be ever mining asteroid? Will we see an alien?
I think we're closer to mining an asteroid than
many people think.
Yeah, like if you look at some of what
that'd be cool as hell.
Look at what some of SpaceX is able to accomplish with automated landings, and they've landed satellites. They've been able to somewhat successfully land satellites. It can be done. Like the whole, like at that point, being able to mine, but then all you really need is full automation. You need to see some robots that could pull it off.
Right.
So we're starting to get there. And you start to break some things when you mine. If you mine an asteroid, you're breaking some things in the world economy. I'll tell you that right now because of resources you would.
Oh, I mean, imagine all those stocks.
Yeah, it's just It's not even necessarily a good thing.
Oh, the imbalance is holy shit.
Oh yeah, that's right. 305. By the way, I just stopped break even on AMD there as the imbalance came out. Nvidia sell 900,000.
Let's go.
CoreWeave sell 900,000. I've never seen that there before. Those are the only two. Amazon buy 500, 600,000. Microsoft buy 700,000. That was a shot down. Why are these buys? CoreWeave's already paired off some, but that was pretty sizable there. It looks like it was just Nvidia, and then a couple of sells. But again, CoreWeave was the one that stood out to me because I don't think I've ever seen an imbalance on that stock. Still a few 100,000 shares. Wow, 28 million in volume. And the balance is less than 1 million shares. All right, that's not as exciting when you factor in how big the volume is on CoreWeave, but it's still something.
Right. Bang, basically. Bang. Ozan. All right, I made it all back. So we made back what we needed to do here on the TQQs. We still do have about a quarter of our position. We tried the short. You can see we got stopped out right there. But then we got back in. We got back in again. And at that point, it's the same. I guess I can cancel. Oh, I don't have any. Let me check on what Nvidia is doing quickly because it was the same sort of thought there. If we're not going to break that 200 period, we talked about this all the way down. Again, so like the next day that this happens, I'm getting more and more prepared. I mean, 25 years sitting in the same seat, you'd think that you'd be a little bit better at this. But there it is all the way to the downside there. There's your 200 period moving average. And I just sort of built these strategies over the last couple of years, being on the show and everything, to try to show you guys some of the stuff that I've been looking at and trying to work what would be good for the show. And talking about trades and stocks and trying to get people all taught up about some of the ideas that we have and whatnot. And so I added this 200 period sort of thing because I always use it on the daily chart, and now it's been pretty good on a 1 minute to give us the ultimate like trend to change, right? You could bounce off the 50 period a lot, but you can see that that's not an exact science by far. I don't mind the 50 period more on larger time frames, but for right now, this has been a nice sort of play right there. So we're getting lighter and lighter into the close here, but we did put it back. Like we didn't make everything back. I told you we gave up like 30 or 40% of this play on one of these plays into here where we were long, I think, and then we got stopped out. So that we gave some back there on the long, but then the short started worked. No, it was the short actually that we got stopped out on right up there, right, and then we got back in. So now we're starting to fade it back out. Someone said Sean is like keeping the hot dog on the barbecue or something like that with all these trades. So we do have one of those things. I don't even know, there it is right here, the hot dog gun coming in there. So sometimes you do want to. Never really want to overcook the hot dogs or anything like that. You may not even ever want to eat a hot dog. But
what's wrong with hot dog? Well, sausage, yeah.
No, hot dogs are fine. If you eat too many of them, then you
always
have either sore tummy and or other issues. But do not Google anything about hot dogs. But here we go to the downside, 89.13, 89.14. We'll see if it continues to make lower moves. Oh my God, I got to go set up the. I'll be right back.
Aftermarket show.
Because I do have to clear out this trade.
Well, speaking of which, by the way, just for everyone out there, because I had mentioned there was a decent sized imbalance on CoreWeave, just to remind everybody, it paired half of it off almost instantaneously. So if it had not done,
forgot
I'd
to
probably
get
be
set up.
short this if it didn't instantly pair off half. It was just under 1 million shares. Now it's 500,000 shares. And as you can see, it's going up. So when I yelled that out, I'm like, there might be something there. The fact that it paired off, don't like the trade anymore. I wanted to see it continuing breaking down on CoreWeave. And it's not a huge imbalance. It's just that it's not used to. It doesn't usually have an imbalance. I think that's one of the things to look for. What everybody here can also look out for is something a little bit different and new from Trade the Pool. We had Mitch on this morning. He talked about his swing trading ideas, and now we've got something new. They've got a free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies, as hot as it is on the trading floor right now, because it's a little warm in here, from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. And inside, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage risk, and what setups they rely on, so you can learn to grow from what actually works. Download it by scanning the QR code you see in front of you, or hitting the link, clicking the link in the description. Shout out to Trade the Pool, thank you to them. And as I mentioned, yeah, CoreWeave already bouncing. It would have been interesting if it could have stayed. It's probably going even smaller. I don't even see the imbalance anymore on that, so must have paired the entire thing off. I can go back up to the top. Nvidia is now 2 million to sell. That actually grew on the imbalance on Nvidia, so it looks like that one is continuing to head lower into the low of the day. Sell imbalances into a sell day. We do have Toll Brothers after the bell. That's a big one. A lot of the big earnings you're going to have aftermarket. Going to be pre-market tomorrow, but after the bell, Toll Brothers. In an environment where rates go down, we hope, anyways, that's if they don't go down, not good for the market, can be good for the home builders in that sector. Part of the reason we were taking some shots at Open Door and liking that to the long side. Toll Brothers, like everything else, it trended down, but still up on the day, still up 0.8%. Remember, this is an ES and tech-related pullback for the most part. Toll Brothers, up move still intact. The space has been on a bit of a run. It gets put to the test and maybe tells us a little something about how the housing market goes in the U.S. You guys have an interesting housing market versus us. Like in the U.S., like you have a mortgage, you own a mortgage, not a house. Here in Canada, we reset every few years, so it's not like you take your mortgage with you. It's a very different dynamic. It's always interesting to see how the trends work in the U.S., and they've been on a good tear. Any chance that we don't get a rate cut could, that'll be a pretty nasty. I think that'll be a not very good shock here for Toll Brothers, because you need rates to come down, because everyone that has a cheap mortgage in the U.S. isn't going to get a new one. So what would be the point? And yes, houses are crazy expensive in some places in Canada, but they're crazy expensive in lots of different places. But certain places here are ridiculous as well. So just about 3 minutes to go. I have to make sure I cancel all my orders, because I still have stop orders out there that I'm absolutely not going to be using in here, and I do not want them to fill. Always got to make sure you clean up your orders at the end of the day. I'll never forget there was one trader, and it happens. You try to do your diligence, but we had a trader who left a stop order on the futures. And then the market closes, and then the trigger, it was like 4:01 or whatever it was, maybe it was like a few seconds after. All of a sudden, he was in position on the futures. We're like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I must have had a stop out. I'm like, you think you had a stop out? Cancel your stop orders next time. Anyways, he punched out and took a hit and was not with us shortly after that. Maybe not the next day, but it didn't take very long.
Yeah, traders not being with us anymore.
Well, that one was pretty. I've never seen someone leave a stop on the futures. Like you could, maybe on like a non-moving stock, but on the SPY, and not even the SPY, like literally, and not the minis. It was like the actual ES. Anyways.
Yeah, that's what it is. Hard enough to be a trader, let alone a sloppy one. So, yeah, guys, with only 2 minutes left, I mean, these imbalances, I didn't even really do too much with them at all today. We can just hold on a second. I got to go like that. I mean, we were already in the futures trade, so it worked out for us with these TQs. We were able to cover a bunch down there near 89. We got our best fill is 89.04, which would be good. So the TLT, the Treasury, coming into play again. XOM on a buy. So there are some buys here today. I don't even see what oil did today. Let's have just a quick look over there. Oops. How much time is it? Only 2 minutes left. Okay. CL/U, I think it is the current one. August, let's go to the September. Yeah, you. Okay, so September contract. Ooh, $62, not good. Down another 2% there. Goes, oops, don't close that chart. Goes oil. So energy names right near the, like this is what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of stock that are near tipping points. And, you know, we got a question earlier, and I'll answer this on the after show. So come to the market recap show. We'll do all this kind of stuff. What stock do we think potentially are at good levels to buy, right? I mean, I would honestly, I know I don't want to just say JP Morgan or any of the financials, but I look at the financials right now, and I think that they're not getting hit today. Only down 0.4. The ES is actually only down 0.6. So I don't think that the JP Morgans of the world and any of these other names are going to be overly affected by any of these rate hikes or cuts I should say, or anything that's really set at Jackson Hole. So I like some of the banks. If you want to play it safe, I think XLF could be something. I'm going to talk more hopefully about this in the after show, but also, you know, just think about things that have been working out, right? Even Intel on a pullback, we know that they have some good news right now. They have some liquidity that's been given to them here with.
Held up really well today.
Yeah, at least a lifeline. They're still up 7% there as we were short Intel. Intel's actually a positive name for me today, believe it or not. But yeah, holding up. Well, this is tomorrow's trade today. This break of $25 tomorrow is going to be spicy if this market doesn't react properly here. So, all right, nice little move back out of there to the upside into the end of the day. So only down 1.38. It sounds like after all we've talked about, got to get ready to hit the countdown. It feels worse than it is, but it's not. So,
what?
No, you did not, Andre. I didn't see it. Andre said he did.
The timing's different, I've on the countdown. Like, it doesn't really matter. Let's ring that bell digitally. How's about now?
Yeah.
There you go. Should have like a, I don't know, like a Trader TV like armband or something on there, or we can get some. We can jazz that one up. But thank you guys. If you're wondering why don't we have the old bell, well, with the renovation, everything's getting moved, and that got moved. So thank you to Fabian for putting something up there so we can continue the tradition. I don't even know if we've settled on where the bell is going to go in Studio 8. So that'll be fun to figure out how we do that. Maybe like right in the middle of the floor, which I should call the studio now because it's now the studio. So thank you everybody for tuning in. The market tried to bounce off the lows, but pretty much we're down across the board, led by Bitcoin in crypto, which closed Bitcoin 113, was able to hold on, and that's what led the way. You have Toll Brothers reporting after the bell. That is a big earnings name. Housing market, of course, pretty solid bellwether for the overall economy. So I think that'll be an important print when it does come out. We're expecting that very shortly. And Brian Shannon's going to be on, special guest, and always a great listen and a great technical analysis from Brian, pretty much always. Big shout out to the entire crew. Great day today, and shout out to the midday boys as well. Shout out to all of you guys here. But remember, you don't have to do much of anything. All you have to do is sit back, relax, get yourself in the mental space to watch the best market recap show. It's not just Sean, it's not just Adara, it's not just earnings, it's also Brian Shannon of AVWAP fame. So your market recap show, sit back and relax. It starts about now.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks, Neil, for that throw. All right, it's earnings central, but we don't have too many earnings. We don't have Toll Brothers until 4:30. We have Lazy Boy. We'll see how lazy that one gets going. LZB at 4:15. And then coming away right now, we have Keys coming up. But, oh, boy, that was quite the day today, down 1.4% in the Nasdaq, and it never really stopped pretty much all day. I mean, some of that pressure near the end of the day, gave it a little bit of a bump there, taking out the 50-period moving average, but still nothing but downside today for the triple Qs. This is the pre-market in gray, and this is that move in total down 1.36%. We had the Dow go out this morning just at the highs, right off the open. All-time highs there, ticks near that 452, and then just kind of a downside pull there. We get Home Depot earnings, which were fantastic, and Home Depot today has a nice upside play there. Beats on the, actually they miss on the top and the bottom line, actually.
Yeah, it was a bad report.
But still up 3% as, I don't know, maybe we should have been, if you come over to the chart, maybe we should have been able to sense that. Like, why was Home Depot up on a bad report? It's because a lot of the names in this space, dividend names that aren't tech related, did have a little bit of a rough time. Sorry, they had a good time, and Home Depot is one of those. It's the tech names, of course, that got hit there today. So, thank you so much to David there, 5 memberships in the chat. So thank you so much, David, for all of that. Dara, it is even warmer up here than it is at our desk. I don't know why that is. You didn't like the lunch today, I see?
Well, no, I weirdly just, I don't know, sometimes when I get busy, I just forget to eat. And then by the time I remember it, I almost was not motivated to do so. And then this meat did not help to get to what you were getting at there. But I have a half a salmon fillet ready when I get home to cook. So
nice.
I'm going to be focusing on that. Apparently this is like this 5-day decline for Palantir is its worst since March 2025.
Yeah, we were actually looking at that chart earlier, and I actually pointed out that exact move back there in March. So there goes Palantir today, down 9.3%. It withstands that 10% short sale limit, but yeah, not great. I mean, we had heard Andrew left of Citron Research come out the last couple days. He came out with it. It didn't really move. Someone reposted it again, and there it goes. So we knew that if the Nasdaq was ever going to have a day like today, that Palantir was probably going to give it up. I thought 9% was a little bit overdone there to the downside, but you can clearly see down 9% there today. AMD kind of leads the way as well on the chip side of things, down 5.4% as money comes into Intel from both SoftBank and the United States government. So there it is right there. Intel up 7% today. Oh my. Without that news story, how low could we go for Intel? Who knows? On a day like today, who knows where Intel would have gone? But nice couple of stories there over the last little while. Intel with that injection of capital. SoftBank now holding 2%. They got their shares at 23. So I feel like if SoftBank bought their shares or got their shares allocated at $23 for that, how much billion? I don't know how many billion.
I think it was around 2.
2? I was going to say 2 myself as well, but I know it's 2%, so that's why I wasn't sure. But right into there, $23 or so, that would be the give up spot. I think if you're long, I may use that as a strategy. Let this thing sort of ride up on Intel until we break through that $23 name. Tesla had itself a morning, that's for sure. As Tesla came with bad China or good China sales numbers early, and that sort of rallied the stock a little bit up to 340, and then the market just said no, and we kept on going to the downside. NIO and stocks like XPEV lead the way as better sales in China for these two Chinese names. No surprise there as they try to keep costs down. NIO up 4%. XPeng, didn't look at this besides the open, but again, another 4% as well. And as you can see, not much happening there. These lights just got super bright up here, but that's okay. $20.75 there for XPeng as that leads the way. Another earnings plays today. Palo Alto. So if you're joining us for the first time today, Palo Alto, I think you might have traded it, but
I did.
yeah, okay. So I don't have a fill on that, but there's 185. We actually looked at Palo Alto earlier and said, what about that 185 level? We'd like to see it hold. It does not. It fades through. Palo Alto right there using 185 as resistance here on the chart does not look very healthy moving forward to the downside there underneath the 50-period moving average. Almost like a sloping down right now, 50-period. You're just at the 200. So I like the stock. Would have liked it to hold a little bit better today. Still up 3%. Hey, in a down market, we'll take it. All right, we've got earnings out of nowhere. What are they?
Yeah, we have Keysight, which we knew, KEYS. Sorry, we also have Fluent. So let's talk about, start with FLNT, not really doing anything. Let's take a look at KEYS, Keysight, KEYS. Pull this one up. They actually reported here Q3 revenue, $1.35 billion, beating estimates of $1.32 billion. Earnings of $1.10 per share, adjusted earnings of $1.72 per share. That does beat estimates of $1.67, so double beat as far as we can tell here. Adjusted net income beating estimates. There's guiding Q4 revenue between $1.37 billion and $1.39 billion. Not seeing how that compares to estimates. But yeah, good double beat here for KEYS. And again, FLNT did not really do much. We're waiting for Lazy Boy that'll step through at 4:15. And Toll Brothers at 4:30 usually does not really come in by the time we end the recap.
All right, thanks, Adair. As we'll have Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends coming through very, very soon. We'll talk to him about everything. Get your questions right now in the chat. Adair and I will go look to see what there's questions and what you guys have posted in there. And we'll see if we can ask Brian some of those. You've heard our opinions all day. Adair, Sharif, obviously on the midday, going through a lot of things. And we'll talk about some of those tickers and hopefully more. So get your questions in there for Brian coming in just 10 minutes. All right, I mean, probably got to ask the guy about crypto, but, you know, either way, it was just 3 days ago that we made 124 a thing. And, you know, we took out its all-time high there of 123. We got up, I think it was over the weekend, up to 124.850 or so. Or no, it looks like it was about last week as we zoom in. How many days ago was that? Yeah, let's give it mid last week there, 124.50 back on the 14th, Thursday. So now you're already back down that 10%. So we'll take off about $11 off of that. I guess it's about $9. We'll come back about 8% off of that. So an 8% pullback there after basically 5 or 6 straight down days on Bitcoin. I want to get longer this name. I think it might be about time as people, I guess, start to question some of the euphoria in the market. You know, we talked about it hitting Palantir. It's also hitting Ethereum a little bit as well. I feel like just let me go over this and I'll go back over to Adara because I think there's another company that maybe just came out. 4,800 top. That makes a new all-time high, roughly a new all-time high. I'm actually going to go over to a monthly chart because I don't feel like we got there. Yeah, so on this is USD. I don't know if this is Coinbase or what, but it looks like 48,760 or so for Ethereum. But at the end of the day, it's a nice little pullback. They're coming back in now for Ethereum. Again, a few red days in a row. I don't want people like running for the doors here, but if you did buy at the top, it's kind of going to suck. We are creating a bunch of new bag holders in this move because there are some traders that might have bought some Palantir there. It didn't want to hold today. Neither does Ethereum. A nice downside push there into 4,300. Sharif was talking about it with you, Adara, talking Tom Lee's sort of targets. Was a buy in and around 4,000 with a relatively close price target of 5,100 in the near term, heading its way to 10 and 15,000 is the price target for Ethereum. Again, as we not only talk about smart contracts, but we also talk about stable coins and different coins being built on this platform and finding a use for them. So stable coins seem to be a stable reason for Ethereum, but not today as they give everything back. Was there something you wanted to go over?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention with regards to Bitcoin, I don't have the chart up right now, but there's a thing that I noticed intraday when you get like two, I guess, high wicks, like these topping tail wicks back to back. And it doesn't matter if one's higher, one's lower, one's higher. I find usually back to back, ones are bearish.
Okay.
Yes.
So back to back on which dailies?
Well, no, I think intraday I noticed it as well. Right? Okay. Like that'll be a good sign for me if something gives you a topping tail. Let's say you try to short it, you get wicked out, that it does almost at the exact same level of topping tail.
Right.
To me, that is a pretty bearish sign. Bitcoin did that, 123,000, 124,000, both were topping tails. That's another element of it for me. And then it drops. And so, like, I noticed it intraday. I've never seen it on the daily chart before, but Bitcoin actually did do that on the daily. So, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so maybe
it could be a little weak. But again, I'm talking about a pattern I've mostly observed on a much smaller time frame. Who's to say? Right now, though, it is absolutely fulfilling that.
Yeah, perfect. So, I mean, that's again, you know, get these strategies, write them down, look at them. They're not going to work every day, but that's a good point to talk about that. And what we talk about these topping tail candles is just some exhaustion. It's like there's enough to get up there, but it doesn't hold. So it just creates, and then the candle forms underneath it, and you get that little top wick. Similarly to sort of what we're seeing right here, and if you go over to IBIT, and it's just right into this chart right here. See, these two tops are right there. There's like a topping tail candle right there back on the 14th of July, and then sort of that topping tail right there again. So similarly to what Adair was talking about, I just actually had IBIT up and found it right there. So two top wicks. We talked to Brian about this as well. And I just wanted to look at IBIT right here even on a 3-minute chart. This is actually a 1-minute chart. But look at this top right there. Like this 64, we came back in there with about a half hour to go. That gave you a nice move down of about 40 cents to end the day there on IBIT. Get your questions in the chat. All right, we do have, so that's for Brian, right? And we're gonna talk to Brian when he comes in, talk to him about his Twitter feed and whatnot and what's been going on there as well. Okay, that's IBIT. So what else we want to talk about is coming with earnings, and we do have that. If you can even, I know you're off tomorrow, is it?
I am.
Okay, good. Well, enjoy your time. I just want to go, you did a graphic of the stocks that are reporting tomorrow.
Yeah,
so maybe we can run through some of those because I know Target's on watch here today, heading into tomorrow, I believe, right? Is Target tomorrow or is it
Target
Wednesday?
Is tomorrow. I already posted a Target-specific infographic for tomorrow as well. You guys can check that out. I have a Walmart infographic coming tomorrow while I'm off, so you guys can check that out as well. They are all being pre-scheduled, but Target's already on X at TTP Research.
Here we go.
Yeah, here it is. So Baidu, Lowe's, Estee Lauder, Target, Zim, which actually can be quite the mover, so I would say look at that one. Analog Devices and TJX. No, none of these are huge expected moves, but the big,
Those are pretty big. I
want to bring a caveat, though, here. The expected moves are a lot more accurate, like way closer to the report. So these are reporting tomorrow morning. These are all reporting in over 12 hours. So these are very likely to change by some amount before the earnings come out. Because I know we had that conversation once too, where I did the expected moves in the morning and Costco was at like 7%. And you were like, well, there's no way Costco is at 7%. And it was when I did it in the morning.
Right.
And then you revisit it, it's like 4%, right?
Okay.
So that's the thing, is that that's very, very common. And so we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Usually I find there's not more than like a 2-3% move. There are exceptions to that though. So just a big caveat there. Yeah, I will not be here tomorrow, guys. And depending on how I'm feeling, I may not be here on Thursday either. But I already have content scheduled for both days. So you have a very active X presence.
Perfect. Yeah, keep going back to @TraderTV research
Yes,
for all of
TTV
that, and I'll
research.
try to retweet all those as
Thank you.
I
There's some
see
good ones
them.
coming. There's a Dan Ives one coming.
Okay,
that
I'll
I
be
previewed on the midday.
definitely
So you guys,
checking
if you saw it, you know what I'm talking about.
That went out as well. Okay, yeah, Target. I mean, I like Target. I think Target's definitely, sort of bunching up here a little bit on the daily. I don't know if you guys put in the chat like which ones out of all those names that you like. There's Target on the daily chart. Just talk about it really holding out here, $99, $100 on TGT with their report coming tomorrow morning. I actually like the stock. I mean, I think it's been holding these levels. I remember we talked about it. I think it was even with Brian before. What does this look like on a 100 break? It hasn't been great or anything like that, but if you've been sitting in this since July 1st, when we did break 100, well, you still got 6%, so that's not too bad about it in a month and a half. We'll see if it wants to get a little bit higher. Very, very risky. I think Brian and everybody would agree with us, with me anyways, that it is hard to take a position before earnings. Nothing wrong with taking some flyers. Traders like to do that with options and whatnot. But with Estee Lauder coming out, are they not a makeup company? I think they are. Or a beauty company of some sort. ELF actually had a nice little move as well. So with ELF being up now, not so much up on the year, but definitely up, obviously from that low of $50 up to 120. ELF looks like it potentially wants to break out too. So on a good Estee Lauder number, maybe we get an ELF move. Here's EL themselves. Huge move to the upside. See, so this one I think is at risk potentially for a pullback in. I know people are saying that Michael Burry and Scion Capital, I guess, I believe that's the company's the fund that he's running. This name, Estee Lauder, they could break out. I do want to remind everybody that this show is brought to you by Global X and Beta Pro 3 times. Go check that out right now. But this little break higher of $95 and change, I think this one could be interesting. But look how far away from the 200 period moving average we are here on Estee Lauder. So that's going to be something to look out for right there. Lazy Boy is now out. So let's go find out if these are lazy or not. 492 million seems like a miss right there versus 531. They might be a miss there, Adara.
I'm not seeing
okay, so as soon as we get those results, we'll bring them to you. But there goes Lazy Boy making that move in. And this is also a name that looks like on the daily. We'll call the daily up right here for you. This looks like it wants to break lower as well. So right now, Lazy Boy down to $33 down here right now, breaking well below a lot of their support. So Lazy Boy getting hit right now. Hey, man, maybe more people aren't chilling. I remember when I was growing up, like Lazy Boys were all a thing, man. Everybody had one of those chairs. You had the recliners going on now. I don't go to anybody's house anymore and see Lazy Boys. And if I do, they're the ones in like the basement. And then there's always a story there. Like, this was my dad's chair, or, this is our good luck chair. I was sitting in this back in 1914.
Good luck chair?
Yeah, good luck chairs. You must not watch sports.
No. I mean, like CFL, but that's it.
CFL, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Blue Bombers. I think they won the other day. I was watching them on TV.
They're pretty good. They're definitely a very good team.
Pretty good. Yeah, but there goes Lazy Boy. Before we call up Brian Shannon, do we have the numbers yet on that or no?
I do not.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Well, without any further ado, let's bring him on. Trader Talk. Oh, Brian, where art thou, Brian? There he is. Hi, Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends. Hope you are doing well. Normally, we have a split screen. We've been going through a lot of work here on the show, so I'm not sure we're going to have that look. But how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing good, Sean. Little trouble for the market here. Little risk management is coming into play again for the first time in a little while.
What do you make of a move like this today? I mean, we talked about this a couple times on the show, and it was just like, I feel very euphoric in this market. Like we came in every day and I feel like we were spoiled. We kept on sort of hitting highs, pulling back a little bit. Eventually, there we go, eventually finding that support. Today, I guess that support didn't hold. So were you short early? Were you long? Did you get stuck? Did you flip it up? Are we waiting? What do you think about that move today?
You know, we've seen signs, as you mentioned. It's felt euphoric. The problem is it's felt euphoric for the last, I don't know, 5-6 weeks, right? And that's not a timing signal. It's not until you get a price break that it really matters. And I think that what we saw is a lot of these leaders have been following, you know, rising up above their rising 20-day moving averages. And a lot of those broke, in particular for the semis and the Nasdaq. And that is getting a little bit more attention. It started really with the cryptos and as you mentioned, the failed breakout last week on Bitcoin. So it's just, I view this as refreshing. I'd love to see the market pull back a little bit deeper here over the next week, week and a half, maybe come down towards that 50-day moving average or so.
Okay.
And that would, you know, set things up nicely again for the, you know, just a higher low to launch from, basically.
So, I mean, I have here, Brian, the 50, and this is what we talk about. I'm glad we use the same word there, euphoric, because, you know, tests of the 50-period moving average. I mean, we can go all the way back here to January, Brian, where we had February, I guess it started February the 20th right there. We were at the same level, 540. I mean, obviously tariff hits, but even before then, we dropped quite large there, over 25% from top to bottom, and then made that all back almost as quick as we lost it. This little retest of the 50-period moving average in here around 555, you know what, Brian? This brings us back to August 1st. So we're just giving back 2.5 weeks of gains. And I feel like if we were all the way down here, how panicked would some of our viewers, would some of the people that subscribe to us be? I think there is a little bit of a calming time that needs to happen. I personally, I think I'm with you on this one. I don't want to catch this falling knife yet. I do want to buy good companies at 50-period moving averages, as I do think this bull market is still intact because you tell me, I'm not really hearing anything bear cases other than valuation. I mean, we do have Jackson Hole coming Thursday and Friday. We'll hear what's going on there as far as the Fed is concerned. We're in a rate cut environment as far as I know. We just had a great earnings season, beating all expectations. 84% of the S&P 500 wind up beating, which is great. Now we have retail in the next couple of days. And we have a president that is now looking at the stock market and actually firing people that give the wrong reports that he feels. He doesn't like that low jobs number. You're out of here. So I feel like this is still bullish. What are the bear cases? Are you hearing any?
I'm not, Sean. It's like you said. I mean, everyone's going to still talk about tariffs, but that's kind of, you know, been pushed to the side. They don't seem to be as important anymore. Right. And eventually it comes down to earnings. And if the earnings continue to be good, and they, as you said, 86% of the S&P 500 beat, that's a good fundamental backdrop. Normal pullbacks will hit the 20-day moving average. They'll hit the 50-day moving average, but that doesn't break the uptrend. It just sucks if you're, you know, the person who chases every breakout and thinks that that's the way to make money without considering, you know, how it got there first. So it's just a good trading environment, I think, still, Sean.
I'm going to give Palantir a little bit of a pass, and I'll tell you why. Because we had that report come out from Citron Research. Andrew Left has done some damage to some stocks in the past. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with people putting out short reports, because people put out reports when they're long certain things. Check Tom Lee, check Michael Saylor, and so as far as all the crypto and all these trusts and all that are going through. And even a stock like Intel, you know, we get that buy from the U.S. government, and then SoftBank comes in as well. But Palantir on valuation, that was always questioned, and we were saying it, I think I was saying it to you last week, PEs don't really matter until something goes wrong. So we get that report, people piling on the top of it, and if we go over to the daily chart, I'm sure you'll have it up now as well, but this is a pretty good pullback. We talked about the 50-period moving average. I was thinking about picking some up here, but I think this needs to flush just a little bit more, and maybe even, and I hate to say it as a Palantir bull, but I'm looking here at the 120 level just because there are so many bag holders, I feel like, that may chase this name in and around 150, maybe let this thing settle down. What is your experience in some names that have gotten carried away, potentially like a Palantir here? What do we look for? Is there a secret recipe for this one, or do we just wait till that penalty box door is finally opened?
120 seems a little aggressive, Sean. I mean, it wouldn't bother me to see it down there. I think a lot of people probably have their eyes on that 50-day moving average right here, and that is, what, about 151.
Yep.
So for me, when I see an important moving average like that, I look back and I say, what was the most important low prior to that? And we had some resistance here that was then tested at this point. So especially with an institutionally supported stock like this and such good overall sentiment towards it, I think it undercuts the 50 and then undercuts this low right here by a little bit. And then you could get your first bounce, maybe up towards that 20. And then maybe if we're due for deeper pullback, that towards that 120, it would look like that. I don't think it would have the power to come straight down towards your 120. Not yet, not straight down at least.
Hi, Brian. Thank you for being here with us. I want to ask you about some retail names. Someone in our chat here is asking about Walmart, but I want to ask you more generally. We have a whole bunch of these names coming into earnings: Walmart, Target, Lowe's. We just had Home Depot. Do you have any names that you prefer in the retail space? And then how do you feel about that sector in general right now?
Well, as Sean was saying, you know, I don't want to buy stocks before the earnings like Target. Walmart came out today, and this is really a great looking chart. It broke some resistance a week and a half ago. That resistance was tested and held as support here the last couple days. Now we're getting a little bit of a bounce off of it. So from a risk management perspective, I think last week's low, last Friday's low, if it breaks below that, then as far as a trade, I'm no longer interested, but it's pretty close to that level, and that provides for a good risk reward that it could, you know, do something like this. As far as the overall group goes, I don't have a group-wide thesis, but you know, Target, it's interesting to see how it's been trapped right at the year-to-date anchor. If it can break that, you're probably heading up towards the 200-day moving average at about 115.
Well, if everybody, thank you for answering that. If everybody's wondering who the handsome gentleman is on the screen, it is Brian Shannon. We want to say thank you so much. Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. Go pick this book up. Someone's saying actually in the chat that there was an Anchored VWAP that sort of triggered some of this sell-off there. I can try to find it to figure out what's going on. Well, it says a VWAP to the all-time high was key this morning. So I don't know. We can look at that again. What I want to talk to you about though was sector rotation. If you know, I was looking at this earlier on in the day, and I know that you trade with some ETFs as well, Brian, but in a market, yeah, come to the screen and then we'll go back to the two of us here, but like this, all over here is technology. If we kind of just say, you know what, let's just push this side of the screen over a little bit. Ooh, look at me, I kind of translucent here a little bit. But you could see healthcare was good today, consumer non-durables. I mean, look at this board. Brian, Procter & Gamble, Philip Morris, Pepsi, Coke, Clorox, they're all Philip Morris, Kenvue, Mondelez, like all of these, forget about Lulu. But a lot of these names here today, dividend-paying names where maybe we're through the tariff sort of push there as well. But there are some pockets of strength right now. Energy today, XOM upside a little bit, MPC, there's going to be gives and takes here, but not as bad today. So can we sort of calm down a little bit? Is there a sector or something that you're noticing maybe underneath sort of this disaster of a day that people are claiming in the Nasdaq? The S&P 500 is only down 0.6%. So where can we look for some relative strength? Are you looking there yet? Is there any ETFs or anything that sort of got your attention moving forward?
You know, the Dow held up today, and as you said, you know, the names that you just mentioned, Sean, those, you know, I thought immediately defensive. Those are defensive names. And so we're seeing a little bit of risk off, money rotating into some safer assets, which are considered part of that Dow 30, which hit an all-time high intraday here today. So it seems like maybe just a little bit of hiding out in there. I saw some people mentioning the equal weighted. Is that SSP? I don't know.
SPS.
It's
SPSY.
RSP.
RSP. Thanks, Dara. The RSP held up much better.
Yes.
You know, I don't really tend to focus on that sort of thing. I think if you trade RSP, you should focus on RSP. But clearly, it's defensive, and you know the people, the stocks that brought us here, the strongest stocks have been the semiconductors, and they were hit amongst the hardest today. So until they cool off and maybe hit their 50-day moving average, come down towards that 280-ish level, then I think those defensive names will probably continue to receive a bid.
You ever consider, like I was thinking to myself, like if you didn't sell today, I mean, obviously there's names down 7, 8, 9%, AMD down 5%. We talked about that. Palantir, Robinhood's had a huge move. That got hit today. SoFi got hit today. Some of these higher flyer, some of the retail names, and obviously a lot of the people that are watching right now, a lot of the traders are retail traders. If you've gotten hit today and you're holding the bag a little bit, is it time to maybe think about buying some VIX to get some protection? Or do you just sort of give a 3-day rule? I don't know. We've sort of talked about, you talked about sloping up, 5-day averages and things like that. What can we look for in some of these names? We can even look at a Robinhood. I mean, that's a popular name here on the chat, and I can call it up as well. But, when do we finally say maybe it's time to get back in? I mean, we're only down a couple points. I think both you and I agree on the 50-period moving average, but if we don't want to wait that long, is there something in the short term? Like, what can happen tomorrow morning? What can happen tomorrow at lunch? Like, is there some sort of trigger that maybe gets you excited before we get down to the 50-period moving averages?
Most likely not. And you look at Robinhood.
Sure.
I mean, this is just where we were 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And this was prior support in here. So we opened strong and sold off throughout the day. If you're concerned about it, we probably get a bounce in the next day or two. And you've got to ask yourself, how bad did I feel right here? Do I want that relief if it starts to roll back over here? And then that's your plan. Well, exit some or exit all of it. Because if it does come back down and then head towards that 50-day moving average, how bad are you going to feel there? But keep it in perspective. I mean, just in April, the stock was 30, and here we are at 120. It's up 400%. So a little 6% pullback, unless you're day trading and you bought the open, it's really not that bad.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get basically the viewers and calming down, even myself too, because when you look at your account every day, you get a little bit crazy with it all. And I think that there is some time just to breathe and just to understand that you've made a lot of money. There is going to be some pullback. There's no risk or reward without the risk, of course, and vice versa. You've answered a lot of questions as per usual, and we want to thank you for that. Is there anything, and by the way, go find this guy at Alpha Trends there on X. Brian Shannon, again, the author of 2 books, Anchored VWAP, Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. Go find that. Is there a name that maybe you've been doing some work on, something that you're maybe holding overnight, or anything that you want to talk about and bring to our viewers? Over 3,500 watching.
Apple looks kind of interesting to me, Sean, although, given the magnitude of this rally from 200 up to 235, what I'd really like to see, I mean, on this daily chart, it's looking like a perfect little bullish flag. But what I see a lot of times like this, when you have something so obvious, is it needs a little flush first.
Right.
And then can set up for maybe later in the week or early next week. So I like the way that's looking. Some of the solars have been holding up, like CSIC. This one is just kind of, doing a little bit of consolidation, as is Sunrun. This FTAI that we spoke about, I've got a third left, FTAI. Yep. I've got a third left in that one today. So, most stocks that I look at, mainly the tech stocks, are breaking down. So I'm just playing a little bit more defensive and looking for some intraday short opportunities, mainly via the indexes.
Yeah, I recently bought Apple exactly around 212 right there.
Oh, nice.
It started to get going. So we'll wait to see where it goes. Palo Alto today, and we're running a little bit over time, so I'm just going to ask you one more quick question here. We had Palo Alto come in again. This is another name where I love the macro behind it. We love cybersecurity names. I think that that's going to play for quite a while. We got a dip down there. I think it was Fortinet had a miss there, and the sort of fell down here in Palo Alto, back down into that 170. It hasn't fully recovered yet. My opinion on this, I actually bought some at 180 on the way down and had to hold it all the way back in. It does touch the 200-period moving average, but I feel like it's failing here on the daily. This isn't probably not a buy until we get above this 190. What do you think about that call right there for Palo Alto? We never want to buy day of earnings or maybe even the next day. Let it settle down. I think the 3-day rule is pretty important. You like anything here? We got Zscaler is a good one. CrowdStrike, CRWD in this space as well. FTNT, Fortinet. You like cybersecurity? You like any of these names? Have you done work here recently?
No, Crowd is always the favorite, and that continues to pull back. It's undercut the April 7th anchor, which we didn't want to see. Now it's coming down to the conjunction of the year-to-date anchor, the blue line, and the 200-day moving average. So maybe we shake below there and then start to do some recovery. And this could be, you know, a month off or so, I think, before it could really get going. And what was the other one you just mentioned? I was
FTNT?
not that one. That's okay. Yeah, that one's just broken.
Yeah.
And
Zscaler.
PANW.
Yeah, PANW.
Palo Alto. Yeah. This one's just, to me, it's a choppy mess. We're right here in the middle of what's been the range for really the last year, and the choppiness of this range just doesn't appeal to me. So I think this group needs some time to heal before it can really, make a good move again.
All right, Brian, thank you again for joining us, spending a little bit of time here, working on a bunch of different names. Toll Brothers just came out. It's kind of choppy right now to the downside, but not by much, down 2%. So, okay, we can look at Toll Brothers quickly together. I mean, that move just happened down into 124, 123 here, but now bouncing back up. I like it above the 200 period. It looks like we almost bounced clean off the 200 there of 122, now heading back up to the upside. Looks like a nice bounce on the daily there off 123. I guess you're seeing the same thing.
Yep, it's just, it's in a nice uptrend. It's shown a real nice pattern in the last couple of months of higher highs and higher lows on this daily time frame. So, like you said, it looks like it's coming back. It's at 130 right now. It doesn't seem like a big deal.
Okay, yeah, it was down a little bit more there. I was going to get dramatic with you, and then it came all the way back up there. So, again, another real estate housing name. So I think with cutting interest rates, and we saw Home Depot with a decent move today as well, up 3%, helping that Dow, as you mentioned, as well. So, all right, Brian, thank you so much for staying late with us again. Anchored View Up, go pick it up on Amazon. Go follow your marks at the bottom there, at Alpha Trends. So thank you again, Brian. Anything you want to, any last words? Do you have anything going on or with our viewers?
Nothing happening here.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Brian. Have a great week, and we'll check you back next Tuesday.
Thank you, everybody.
Ciao. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you very much, Brian, for being here with us, as always. Always very happy to have him. I'm going to go over Toll Brother earnings, if I may, because I think there is a reason it's down despite the double beat. And that reason is their adjusted gross margin from home sales was 27.5%. That's actually down year over year from 28.8%, so down about 1.3% on a year-over-year basis. They did beat, though, $3.73 per share for earnings versus $3.59 expected. Sales, $2.95 billion versus $2.85 billion expected. So that's a double beat for Toll Brothers, but that year-over-year decline in gross margin from home sales, maybe not great. A much more bleak report was from Lazy Boy, and if I was them, I'd probably not be resting on my laurels or reclining right now because it's not a great look.
Nope.
Q1 earnings, 47 cents versus 55 cents expected. Miss. Sales, 492.229 million versus 494 million. Miss. They also are guiding Q2 sales. It looks like, below estimates. They're guiding Q2 sales between 510 and 530 million versus 531.67 million expected. And I will stop now, but I just wanted to go over those earnings before we let you guys go.
All right, I got to get home, take the daughter to volleyball, and she wants to get freshy. I know that's a place I used to work at.
I did.
There. Okay, I know you're not necessarily going on vacation or anything, but this is a vacation destination. If it could be anywhere, where would it be? Where would it be?
Madrid.
Madrid. Okay, we like to go there. Maybe
What
you get to
about
go. I think I'd like to go to Thailand.
Oh, that sounds cool. That's very
Something a little bit exotic there. Yeah, I don't know. Chill out, see some monkeys. I don't know.
I didn't
Hang
realize
out.
they had like a huge monkey.
Do they have huge monkey population? I have no idea. But just to get in there, I think it'll be pretty fun. I don't. But you know what? Maybe the flight is too long.
I don't know how long the flight would be.
I like to go on vacation. Just sit at home. Maybe I'll take that. No. Thank you so much, Brian Shannon. Thanks, Adara. Be well, and we'll see you back Monday, we think, or we don't?
So I am aiming for Thursday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It might be Friday, but we'll see what happens.
Perfect. Take care. We will see everybody, no matter what, tomorrow morning at 8:30, where you'll see Neil, myself, Sharif, and Joe, I believe, coming in a bit earlier. So we're going to say hi to them tomorrow morning. We'll say hi to you then as well. Thank you to Brian Shannon for joining us here. Again, thank you to Ramin, Fabian, and everybody for staying late. Andre, Neil, Sharif, Joe again. Obi, which we didn't see today, but we always want to say thanks to him as well. But for me, that's Adara. I'm Sean, and we will see you tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao for now.
See you guys.